What's up with y'all? What's up with y'all? Welcome back to Moxie Approved. This is a compilation of all the videos I've done pertaining to the Kendrick Lamar and Drake beef. Now, the difference between the videos that I've compiled together is I mostly look at this battle just from a cultural angle as far as what impact this battle between the two had on the Black American culture. Now, I know there's a lot of you that are not from my culture or maybe not even from my country. These videos are for you also, so please enjoy. And don't worry, it's not gonna be just video after video after video. I'm gonna come through and commentate in between some of these videos and kind of give you a pre-summary of what I was thinking when I made some of these videos. I have videos that have gotten maybe 2,000 views, and I have a couple videos that have gotten up to 400,000 views. So I know if you've seen one of these videos, more than likely you haven't seen them all. So here's your chance to enjoy. And if there is a video you've happened to seen before, don't worry, I have time codes there. So you can skip or go back to whatever video you want to watch. Now, this first video is the first one I did pertaining to this battle. I noticed that Kendrick had taken the Katt Williams angle, but he put a cultural spin to it where he was exposing, but he was also exposing more toward breaking Drake down in a cultural angle. So check it out.
I came in this business saying I was gonna expose.
The last few days, the ongoing beef between Kendrick Lamar and Drake has hit new levels, which begin when Kendrick dropped the track 616.
See you, my little homie. You playing dirty with propaganda, he'll blow up on you.
This track was met with a quick response from Drake, who dropped the track Family Matters.
You the black messiah, wifing up a mixed queen.
Kendrick then surprised everyone by dropping another track only 43 minutes later called Meet the Grams.
You raised a horrible person, the nerve for you, Dennis.
Now for this track, Kendrick speaks to Drake's entire family. Yes, he addresses his entire family.
Sandra, sit down. What I'm about to say is heavy. Now listen.
In a way that surprised even me.
He said it don't line up. How it don't line up?
Kendrick channels his inner Katt Williams.
LeBron, keep the family away. Hey, Curry, keep the family away.
Now we know Katt set this year off with one of the most memorable interviews of all time, where he spoke on joke thieves.
Cedric told you when you asked him, did you steal Katt Williams' joke?
More importantly, he exposed the inner workings of the industry.
So there was a crossroads where we were both invited to an Illuminati thing.
Now, this interview not only sent a ripple effect throughout the comedic world,
Chimp Williams,
but also we have the music world too.
I'm looking to shoot through any pervert that lives. Keep the family safe.
Kendrick channels his inner Katt Williams and displays this during the second verse of Meet the Grams.
Your son's a sick man with sick thoughts. I think niggas like him should die.
Where he exposes Drake in his inner circle.
There's some weird shit going on and some of these artists be here to police it.
You can first hear the Katt Williams in his verse when he brings up Harvey Weinstein.
Him and Weinstein should get f***ed up in a cell for the rest of their life.
Sound familiar?
They canceled me for talking about Harvey Weinstein before the thing came out, but he offered to suck my in front of all my people at my agency.
Witnesses who testified to allegations that Harvey Weinstein was...
Throughout this verse, Lamar implies that Drake grooms young women.
They be streamlining victims all inside of their home and calling them tender.
He even dives deeper by claiming there's an entire workflow that Drake has with these young women.
To any woman that be playing this music, know that you're playing your sister, or better yet, selling your niece to the weirdos, not the good ones.
And even used the link earlier this year that he put out with his genitals as a calling card for this system.
Then leak videos of themselves to further push their agenda.
Now, whether this is true or not, Kendrick puts out his own prediction, saying that there will be a raid of Drake's property similar to Diddy.
The embassy about to get raided too. It's only a matter of time.
And they have to now conduct a forensic investigation of those items.
If you haven't heard this track, I implore you to give it a listen. It has many Easter eggs. It has even led to people online to share their stories of Drake. Like this one where a woman claims that Drake sent her friend home because she was talking to her kids too much and he didn't want her talking to her kids. Yeah, that sounds wild. Allegedly, whenever he would catch her talking to her kids, it would break his fantasy of her being a single woman, kid-free, I must say that's some weird industry shit. Now, all this goes back to the energy that Katt Williams set for 2024.
It's all catching hell in 2024. It's up for all of them. It don't matter if you Diddy or whoever you is.
Saying that no one is safe getting exposed.
TG Jakes, any of them, all lies will be exposed.
And don't worry, this ain't just my opinion. Kendrick leaves no doubt where this energy came from.
Katt Williams, I gave you the truth, so I'ma get mines.
Now, Katt Williams has been continuing to torch stages on his Dark Matter tour, where he is getting ready for his Netflix special called Woke Folk. But rest assured, 2024 will not be a forgettable year for Katt Williams, and we are not even halfway through the year yet. But you let me know in the comment section how you feel about this track and Kendrick channeling Katt Williams. I personally think that it's pretty dope. And if you like this video, I'm pretty sure that you'll like my documentary that I did on Katt Williams called The Last Stand, and my other comedy documentaries that I've done on Patrice O'Neal and Paul Mooney.
Now, one thing that made this beef definitely cultural is that there were some petty takes from people, let's just say outside of the Black American community, and it led to some very memorable moments. One example here is from DJ Vlad, where he complained about the mixing, and it led to some interesting choices on his behalf. You gotta see this one.
Good morning. I saw something very disturbing when it comes to this Kendrick and Drake back and forth.
What's up with y'all? What's up with y'all? Welcome back to Moxie Approved. Man, this Kendrick and Drake beef has went to new heights. This beef has been bringing out a lot of creativity from the artists. I'm not even gonna lie. Metro Boomin, the one that Drake told, go and make some drums, he actually made some drums. And he made a song called BBL Drizzy. It's no longer about the music, folks. I don't know if you pay attention, but it's no longer about the music. It's became a cultural thing. And this displays itself much more recently when DJ Vlad has pretty much been going viral, not just for some tweets he put out, but for the way that he's handling it. Now, this whole fiasco started off on Twitter when DJ Vlad tweeted, Kendrick's Not Like Us needed a better mix. It takes away from the song. Now, a lot of people such as myself look at that as, that's just a way of you hating on Kendrick Lamar. I mean, we all know that DJ Vlad is a failed DJ, and it's okay. I failed at some things in my life. Listen, I know about music, and it didn't take away from that song at all. It just seemed like it was a cheap shot. Well, a woman that goes by the name of Morgan Jenkins, she tweeted out, "You are white. This is a black folk affair." To a lot of people, this is just opinions. It's an innocent tweet back and forth. But Vlad takes this to a whole different level. He was obviously really hurt about this tweet. He goes and says, wait, so a professor at Princeton is telling me that a white person shouldn't be allowed to voice their opinion about hip hop. Is that how you interact with your students? Yeah, that's right. He's coming off on the Karen mode, but it doesn't stop there. Morgan says, what I'm saying is that you put your opinion in a discussion that is not needed. This conversation is and should center black people, not you. So then DJ Vlad comes back and says, don't try to change your words now. I'll be reaching out to Princeton about this on Monday. Very Karen-like over some tweets. Morgan replies, semester's over and my contract has been completed, but thanks for trying to bully me out of a job for centering black people because you got your feelings hurt. Very retaliatory, huh? Nice tactic. DJ Vlad responds, it's called permanent record. Every university has one. I went to Berkeley myself. People spew ignorant and bigoted comments at you publicly and then act like they're getting bullied when they get a response. Typical victim mentality. Go ahead and take that. Now, wait a minute. Wait a minute. It seems like the first person to take a victim mentality off of this was you, DJ Vlad. Just for her telling you that we don't really want to hear your opinion and nobody cares, because this battle, which I also agree, has really became a black folk thing. The problem is that Drake, as an international artist, a lot of people look at him as a culture vulture, and he's brung in a lot of people into hip hop that really don't know hip hop. So when they give their opinions on this, a lot of it is a bunch of nonsense. This African dude told me online that Kendrick lost because he said that Drake is Malibu's most wanted, and that he looked up at Malibu and Drake isn't wanted out there. Now that's what I'm saying. You don't even understand that Malibu's most wanted is a damn movie, right? So a lot of these comments concerning the whole Kendrick and Drake, when it comes from people outside of the culture, they really don't know what they're talking about. And that's really the root and center of what this beef has become. Morgan Jerkins did not stop. Sweetheart, before I was a professor at Princeton, I graduated from Princeton. What are you really saying? And DJ Vlad says, good luck being a professor at Princeton again. I doubt the university supports their faculty telling non-black students to shut the fuck up about anything hip-hop related because of their skin color. Well, she's not on the clock right now. And this woman does have an opinion. Now, what I want to say about this is I'm very proud of my community, and I'm very proud of Kendrick Lamar. We didn't have no meeting on this. We heard some of the lyrics that Kendrick Lamar was spewing, and we knew what he was doing. And we knew the point that he was trying to make. It's a lot of culture vultures. I mean, he called Drake a colonizer, which I would like to agree with. The man is a colonizer. And he did that in the midst of talking about the history of Atlanta. It was brilliantly crafted. It was brilliantly crafted. FBA, we had no meeting on this. We just heard what he did and we stayed on cold. And this went further on TikTok. Man, they drilling DJ Vlad on TikTok. Take a look at this. But wait. Before we go too far, please do me one small favor, hit that like button. And if you haven't yet, apply pressure to that subscribe button. Yes, apply pressure to that subscribe button.
Good morning. I saw something very disturbing when it comes to this Kendrick and Drake back and forth. And it has nothing to do with Kendrick and Drake. So if you're familiar with DJ Vlad, who built a career off of black culture, and he is not black, he decided to attack a black woman's job because she told him this is a black space. No, but seriously, DJ Vlad literally got mad because she said, you are white, this is a black folk affair. And he decided to start tagging Princeton, where she works, and says that he's going to reach out to them on Monday because she told him this is a black folk affair. That's it. She didn't call him out his name. She didn't call him any racial slurs. Nothing. She said this is a black folk affair. And he decides to go after her job. This man built a career off of black culture. He is not black. And he feels uncomfortable. He feels attacked because he is being told by someone in a culture he does not belong to, is saying that this ain't for you. Stay out of it. Now, historically speaking in this country, black people existing in black spaces at some point was illegal. Black gatherings, black whisperings, black tradition, all were illegal in this country, to the point that white violence was allowed to thrive whenever black people existed in black spaces. And so what does Vlad do? He becomes his ancestors' wildest dreams and decides to attack a black woman who said this is a black space. It's a very colonizer thing to do. I truly hope that hip-hop artists are paying attention to what this man is doing, because he is a guest into black culture. He is not of black culture. And he is trying to get a black woman fired for talking about her culture and saying this is our space. This is not for you to chime in. This is our space. That's all she said. And he feels the punishment for saying that you do not exist in our space is to get her fired. That's extreme. But yes, I truly hope you black artists stop going to Vlad. Do not go where you are not celebrated, but tolerated. I want to point out that most people who think like Vlad don't do this to other cultures, but mainly black.
This guy named DJ Vlad, he never meant these rappers and all these other magically melanated, aka black people that go on his podcast. He never meant them any good anyway. He gets them on there to snitch on themselves. He actually loves to perpetuate controversy and continue to gaslight us against one another, because we're the only one he's infatuated with. He's built a whole career in wealth and success and popularity off of black people coming on his podcast and making him relevant, when all he does is attach himself to things that we do in our controversies, and is really helping further the destruction of our community, and he assists, but we continue to go on there and talk to him. I don't watch his show. So we need to start lashing out at the black artists and black people who constantly go on his show to help him out, who show that they don't care about us as a whole, they just care about themselves. Because he's trying to get this sister fired, because he don't respect her opinion when he's in the opinion business.
You see what happens when you hype people up, such as DJ Vlad in the culture. Never liked him, so I'm a hater. But you invite him in the culture and he gets so comfortable, and someone tries to correct him, and now he's threatening to contact that lady's university. She said, this is black people business, because honestly, this is black people business. And he said, what are you talking about? So just because I'm white, I can't be in the business? That's clearly not what she meant. She meant you're trying to center your whiteness in our space right now. This is a hip-hop moment. This will go down in history of one of hip-hop's greatest moments. And you talking about that beats weren't mixed and mastered correctly. Hush up for once and mind your business. And now you're talking about racism, and you're gonna contact that lady's university and get her fired? This is why when a certain demographic opens their mouth to things that has nothing to do with them, it's very upsetting and it's very weird. But y'all will sit there on his couch and divulge secrets knowing that that man is the feds.
Now, one thing about it, this is not hypocritical. We are keeping the same energy, and DJ Vlad should know this himself. You wanna know why? Look at the war that's going on in Israel and Palestine. Most of us who are not in college, we haven't been speaking on it. We have been minding our business. We haven't been putting ourselves in the middle of it. And there's people like DJ Vlad that are pretty upset about this.
Drake is the most famous Jewish person on earth. Khaled is the most famous Palestinian in the world. But neither one of them has said anything about this at all.
Now, this is not the first time DJ Vlad has been called upon as far as the FBA community at being canceled. But what it really comes down to is these artists. These artists keep giving him business, and there's nothing we can do about that, but we do have power. I don't watch DJ Vlad videos, man. I don't. For years, people have been talking about how DJ Vlad has put some of these same artists in jail. He has created a platform that get these artists locked up. One of my favorite battle rappers even spoke on it. Sue Surf.
You got a couple niggas indicted.
No, I didn't get anybody indicted.
You got a couple niggas indicted.
I didn't get a single person indicted. Who did I get indicted? Who did I get indicted?
I ain't about to open another indictment on who you indicted.
But these YouTubers, these artists, they all drooling at the mouth to get a chance to be on DJ Vlad's platform. And to be honest with you, I don't see his platform getting taken down, or I don't see him getting canceled on this. But he should. Not just because of this, but because of all the other, man, this man tried to get Farrakhan out of here. Farrakhan.
So now I find out that he tried to get one of our elites, the minister, Farrakhan, to do his show, and Farrakhan didn't do the show. And he felt some kind of way about that. So he has, and somebody sent me this video where they backing up everything they said. Vlad misquoted the minister. And I feel like he did it intentionally, because Vlad gets in his feelings when you get to talking about his people. And I want to say this in case Vlad is watching. Your people are the dirtbag Hollywood running motherfuckers.
So when we speak up for our community, it's a problem, right? It's on y'all, FBA. Don't click on his videos and don't support artists that goes to his platform. I've been like that. I can't remember the last time I looked at a DJ Vlad video unless I was gonna use it for a reference. And then you gotta put all kind of stuff on it because he'll strike you. Small channel, big channel, it don't matter. He'll strike you, right? A lot of hypocritical actions going on here with DJ Vlad. The unfortunate thing is he has the machine behind him, but we have power. We just have to utilize it. But you tell me what you think about this in the comment section. I think it's very petty that just because someone telling him that he's not a part of the culture, that he wants to get them fired from their job. I've been seeing all around online that people are getting. This is about our culture and getting rid of the culture vultures. We can't stop them from listening to our music and all that, but they're real quick to tell us that we don't have no culture.
I'm sorry, I can't do Americans. I need somebody with culture, I'm sorry.
Black Americans got.
Then when something that's from our culture goes viral, they want to participate in it, give their opinions. Look, don't be reluctant to tell them, don't nobody care. But you tell me what you think on this matter. I think we have a lot of power that we're not utilizing.
Now, when Kendrick released 616 and Euphoria and Meet the Grams, he gave himself a pretty good leeway, but he didn't really destroy Drake until this very, very famous popular song, Not Like Us, of course. But once again, the way I talked about this song was not only it was a bop, but it had cultural significance. It's one of my favorite, I think it's the best diss song ever made. But not only that, not only was it a diss song, it had cultural significance to the point where I had to actually break down in this song who Kendrick was talking about when he said not like us. So who's the us in it? Check it out.
It's been about a week since the greatest Black American anthem, FBA to be exact, has been breaking records. Now, wait, hold on. Let's take a look at all the records that is broken in this last week since it's been released. The song, Not Like Us, broke a record by having almost 100 million streams in the first 7 days. Almost 100 million streams in the first 7 days. This was a record that was previously held by Cardi B. It surpassed Fortnite from Taylor Swift with more than 96 million streams. His other song, Euphoria, also went from number 11 to number 3 with 49 million streams. So pretty much the boy's been cooking. Not just here, all over the world, man. I got some videos on my page. Look how they was responding to this in Asia.
Not the Bible of God watching. Sometimes you gotta pop out and show nigga.
Yeah, I don't know what that is, man, but hey, that's how they was rocking.
They not like us. They not like us. They not like us.
It got kind of weird when you look at some of the videos they got from Europe.
Ass and hot the Bible of God watching. Sometimes you gotta.
Even the Africans had to bop and change it and turn it into some type of African stuff. We're gonna get to that in a minute.
Say OV ho. Say OV ho. Then step this way. Step that way. Then step this way. Step. Get you tired. Trying to strike a chord and it's probably A minor. They not like us. They not like us. They not like us. They not like us. They not like us.
This record is affecting more than just the streams, man. It's also affecting Drake's Nike deal. He has a new sneaker that came out. Take a look at what they said about how sneaker sales is going. The Hot Step 2 white colorway was supposed to be released 10 a.m. on Thursday, May 9th for $200. The problem with this is nobody's buying it. It says that many people and brands have invested millions of dollars into Drake's talent and career. That's not just the case of the music side. Brands like Nike have endorsed the Toronto pop star through the years. Right now, the endorsement isn't looking so good. It says Kendrick Lamar has seemingly done the impossible and turned the public against Drake, leading to more than 1 million dislikes on the latest response to Heart Part 6. And it says his latest shoe with Nike, the Nocta Hot Step 2, was released on the sneakers app Thursday. And well, it looks like nobody wants these sneakers. To add to it, a big moniker of this is they're saying that every size is available. Every single size is still available. So this record is affecting more than just the Billboard charts. And it came at a perfect time because the FBA community, we've been taking hits since last year.
My African friend explained to me that a lot of Africans don't like African Americans.
Just off the wall comments like this. But wait, do me one small favor, apply pressure to that subscribe button. Yes, apply pressure to that subscribe.
They got white names, you know what I mean? Like, it'll be like something Thompson, you know what I mean? You never see that in an African person. It'll be like Pascal, it'll be Hamada Gogo, it'll be, you know what I mean? Yeah. Kevin, da-da-da. Yeah. They're all, I remember, like, white people. So something Williams. Yeah, so.
Care about nationalities. It's all about the personality to me.
You just said
No. I'm sorry. I can't do Americans. I need somebody with culture. I'm sorry.
Black Americans got culture.
Broad look like she's straight from Atlanta talking like that.
That niggas is black. You're black. You're just black.
Now we've been just sitting here watching these videos go viral online, over here just minding our business.
Thank you so much, bro. You're just fully American. You're African American, bro. That's it.
Now that one really surprised me because just take a look at this. He's from Trinidad. I know nothing about Trinidad culture. This dude sitting here dressed like American youth, Not like the Trinidadians. Maybe like the Trinidadians because they probably dress like us also.
You're not Trinidadian. You're not Jamaican. You're not African. You're not. Word!
But the whole thing with this is, notice that I don't know anything about Trinidadian culture. A lot of y'all don't know anything about Trinidadian culture. And guess what? It's not your fault. This man got one of the biggest platforms on the planet. And he's not telling us nothing about Trinidadian culture. He's not dressed like a Trinidadian. And I wonder why. Maybe because he's afraid that doesn't nobody care. That's why this song really came at a great, great time. Because people can act like this song doesn't mean what it means. Even the white folks got down.
Why you trolling like a bitch? Ain't you tired? Trying to strike a chord and it's probably A minor.
I didn't even know he dropped Not Like Us. I put that shit on the aux. Whole fucking place started dancing. Everyone started chanting OVO.
But no, I'm gonna say what it means. It means they not like us. We
T around, certified lover boys, certified pedophiles. Wop, that fuck 'em up.
We, FBA, they not like us. So now we have an anthem that's pretty much all about cultural appropriation. And it's funny, it's all about cultural appropriation and it's pretty much dogging a guy out for being a PDF file, right? One of my favorite parts about the song is it even goes into the history of Atlanta.
Drake said that Kendrick sounded like he was trying to free the slaves. And so Kendrick responded in Not Like Us by saying, once upon a time, all of us was in chains. Homie doubled down, calling us some slaves. Atlanta was the Mecca, building railroads and trains. Bear with me for a second, let me put y'all on game. Settlers was using townfolk to make them richer. Fast forward 2024, you got the same agenda. You run to Atlanta when you need a check. And then of course he ends this section with, you're not a colleague, you're a colonizer. Many railroads in the United States, and especially in the South, were built by enslaved African Americans. And you can learn more about this in the book Redress for Historical Injustices in the United States. There's a chapter in the book titled Railroads, Race, and Reparations by Theodore Cornreble Jr. And it states, in the 35 years before the Civil War and the end of slavery, railroads in every southern and border state, with the possible exception of Delaware, routinely used slave labor. Despite an incomplete historical record, documents verify the use of slaves on 77% of southern railroads built by the end of the Civil War. In short, the use of enslaved labor was well nigh universal on antebellum Southern railroads. Slave labor was essential to Southern railroading and therefore to the economy of the South as a whole. It goes on to state, antebellum Southern railroads clearly profited from the use of enslaved African Americans who could be obtained more cheaply and worked more rigorously than free white workers. And here's the kicker. These corporations are still benefiting from that enslavement. Nearly all of the railroads built, it says, before the end of slavery are today owned and operated by 4 of the 5 largest railroad corporations.
Man, using this to diss a motherfucker, man. But I just wanted to make this to be clear, because I don't really hear a lot of people saying it. I see y'all in the comment section, but this is definitely already the song of the summer. I don't care what anybody says. I don't care what kind of song comes out. There's not gonna be a better song for the summer. It's Not Like Us. I said it before and I'm gonna say it again. One of our biggest problems is we too nice. We too nice. We're very welcoming, very forgiving, but all these other races, all these other cultures, they have their thing where they're proud to be a part of that culture, and there's nothing wrong with us being proud to be FBA. You let me know how you feel about this in the comment section.
They Not Like Us, the record-breaking diss track aimed at Drake, has been already solidified as possibly the greatest diss track of rap's 50-year history. But with all the hoopla over Drake's alleged underage fetishes and his Ozempic cravings, I feel the message of They Not Like Us is being lost.
Watching, sometimes you gotta pop out and shimmy.
This FBA anthem has spread like wildfire all across the world without many addressing the question, who is they?
They not like us. They not like us. They not like us.
Now, when attempting to summarize whom is being referred to as they, this question easily begins and ends with Drake and his OVO colleagues. Though this video, we will talk about who else can be labeled as they when saying they not like us. And we will do this by breaking down the references made in this track by Kendrick Lamar himself. Why you probably have heard many reactions and breakdowns to this song, there are some huge facts being overlooked for the simple reason of just enjoying the song. But there is a message to it, a deep message with a twist that I will reveal in the end. But first, do me one small favor and apply pressure to that subscribe button. Yes, apply pressure to that subscribe button.
Man down, call her Amber Lamps, tell him breathe, bro.
What seems like a simple line to many actually has a layer to it. Not only does Kendrick establish his cultural presence with this line being amber lamps. Amber lamps is a distorted version of the word ambulance, which can be heard at times from some of our aunties, uncles, and even some crackheads.
Ambulance! Where the ambulance? Why the man body still right there?
And even some of our aunties and uncles who are crackheads have used this pronunciation. But this also could be referring to Cameron saw amber lamps.
Oops, here come the sirens.
Cameron being used as a subliminal makes sense because Cameron was heavily favored toward Drake at the time of the recording of They Not Like Us.
I don't know, man.
What do you think?
I think Drake is winning. Euphoria didn't really, it didn't really move
While
me.
this theory is as entertaining as this song that we're making an entire video about, Kendrick is in the season of naming names. So I would not clearly place Cameron in the box as they, simply due to the fact that this can be taken as a jab or even just a backslap. But within a few bars later, Kendrick begins to clearly mark who can be included as they. Jabroni-ass niggas trying to see Compton.
What's up with these jabroni ass niggas trying to see Compton?
Obviously, Drake here is being mentioned as a culture vulture. In the show, Always Sunny in Philadelphia, there's a character that goes by the name of Mac that always used the term jabroni when speaking upon people that are not familiar with the culture of Philadelphia.
Doing out here? Don't worry about it, bro. You can't be out here swinging hockey sticks. You're not even supposed to be out here without skates. Get out. Out. Okay. Leave it.
You know what, Charlie? I think he's right, dude. Only a couple of jabronis come out here without skates on. I gotta do this thing in skates, man.
Stop you though?
Yeah. You keep using this word jabroni, and it's awesome.
What's up with these jabroni ass niggas trying to see Compton?
So Kendrick in this line makes it clear. Anyone that's culture appropriating can rightfully be included when referring to them as they. He also takes a shot at the entire industry and boils it down to a anyone can get it tirade.
The industry can hate me, fuck them all and they mama. How many options you really got? I mean, it's too many options.
The main angle used to strangle Drake's image to the point where his endorsement ability may forever be depleted has undoubtedly been the accusations of Drake being involved in PDF or even grooming.
Say Drake, I hear you like I'm young. You better not ever go to cell block 1.
Not only does Kendrick dive into this topic with this bar, but he also mentions an OVO member, BACA.
And BACA got a weird case. Why is he around? Certified lover boy, certified pedophiles.
Travis Savory, also known as BACA Not Nice, was charged with trafficking and SA in 2014. The trafficking case was dismissed due to the victim refusing to testify, making BACA the second clear indicated target outside of Drake who can be included in the term of they.
The other vaginal option.
Kendrick states the obvious by including Drake's entire entourage in this line, while the obvious that all OVO members would be included as they. In this line, he takes a Bohemian Grove reference to label what the term OVO stands for. This term, other vaginal options, references a dark world of the Bohemian Grove with rumors of child sacrifice, branch under the nose, and satanic worship, all which can be included in the term they. In the second verse, Kendrick makes an interesting observation. He states how Drake can manipulate the audience, but they are not as idiotic as his arrogance equates.
Go. The audience not dumb. Shape the stories how you want. Hey Drake, they're not slow.
But what makes this interesting is he could have used the word we here, but instead decided to use the word they. This indicates that while the world is the audience to this beat that they are participating in, the entire audience is not like us. Some of them are they.
Go. The audience not dumb. Shape the stories how you want. Hey Drake, they're not slow.
Be mindful of this, as we will address this point again in a minute.
I'm glad D-Rose came home. Y'all didn't deserve him neither.
DeMar DeRozan, an NBA All-Star who played for the Toronto Raptors from the 2009 season all the way until 2018 when he left. DeMar, who is also from Katt, happens to be from a Crip neighborhood, which to some would make him an obvious op to Kendrick, who is also from Compton, but from a Piru neighborhood. Well, those who know about LA gang politics understand when a hit such as They Not Like Us takes the entire world by storm, as long as the track makes no reference or slander to other gangs, or what they call set tripping, the entire city will back this artist, regardless of gang ties, which you can observe when noticing Crip sea-walking to a song made by Compton Piru. Nothing to see here. But what makes this line interesting is Kendrick refers to Toronto as y'all.
I'm glad D-Rose came home. Y'all didn't deserve him neither.
Y'all, which is parallel to they, making Toronto, once again, an indicated target of they. Well, let's see. How does Toronto feel about this?
Devil is a lie. Here's 69 God.
A simple slogan from Kendrick elopes a slew of information. He refers to Drake as a 69 God. When doing a deep dive, 69 is an ambiguous reverse sexual position. Reverse God could be established here because the line before Katt says the devil is a lie. He could also be referring to the rapper 6ix9ine, who was accused of similar stuff as Drake. So, along with PDFs, you can also place Satanists and atheists in this category. I would include atheists because he said the devil is a lie. Well, what's the greatest lie the devil ever told? That he doesn't exist. Next, now in the third verse, Kendrick makes his biggest declaration of who they can be labeled as, when he dedicated an entire verse to this description.
Once upon a time, all of us was in chains.
He starts by stating how we were all once in chains. Some will go on to say he's referencing the fact that all races at some point on this earth were slaves. But this theory gets terminated in his next two lines, saying that Atlanta was the mecca of building railroads and trains. He makes it clear he is specifically speaking on America's history of slavery, where the indentured servant system was replaced with a system that demoted only blacks to being enslaved. Take that line and couple it to when Kendrick says all of us was once in chains. He makes it clear that this is a track meant for FBA. Katt would go on to liken Drake's actions with Atlanta rappers to those of the settlers, white settlers to be exact, who were taking advantage of the town folks of Atlanta, who carried the workload.
In the 35 years before the Civil War and the end of slavery, railroads in every southern and border state, with the possible exception of Delaware, routinely used slave labor.
He then punctuates this with the line, "You're not a colleague, you're a fucking colonizer."
You run to Atlanta when you need a few dollars. No, you're not a colleague, you're a fucking colonizer.
That places anyone without a similar history of being robbed by American white settlers to be included in the term they. Now, one point that I have to make is this line here.
Hey Drake, they're not slow.
Kendrick makes it clear when he refers to they as the audience, that though you may not be like us, you still don't have to be like him, as in Drake. And as long as you are in fact not like him and not trying to be like us, you can be like us and just enjoy this song and cry or laugh at the fact that Drake probably will never be the powerhouse he once was because he mastered culture appropriation. And just know, culture appropriating a song meant to destroy the entire belief of culture appropriation is just as funny as me using this dumbass voice
for almost the entire video. So who do you see as they? Tell me in the comments section.
Now, by this point, I think we all know that Drake made some impactful moves to try to take away the momentum of this song. A lot of people say this whole thing with the bots and this whole thing with the lawsuit is him trying to get this song unplayable at the Super Bowl. That has yet to be seen. I'm doing this a few weeks before the Super Bowl. But I must say, these next two videos kind of lays that to rest. Fun fact, I was in Asia when Not Like Us was released. And yeah, this is how the whole world was responding to that song, including Asia. It could have been bots. It had an effect all around the world.
Es que, ¿dónde está Drake? A ver, explícame tú, ¿dónde lo dejaste? ¿Dónde está su respuesta? Kendrick ya lanzó 2 respuestas inmediatamente después de Family Matters. Y por último, si te pones a estudiar realmente, si te gusta el hip hop, si te gusta el rap, deja a un lado tú de quién eres fan, de Kendrick, de Drake, no importa. Si realmente te gusta la cultura, entonces ponte en un punto neutral y di, este cuate está loco, lo que escribe, las rimas, las referencias son mind-blowing.
Certified lover boys, certified pedophiles. Wah, 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 wah. That fuck 'em up. Wah, 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 wah. Your ass and hide the Bible if God watching. Sometimes you gotta pop out and show niggas.
Hindi. Grabe init yan. Gusto ko aircon. Ayan. Buti na lang talaga may aircon kami. Grabe. Uy! Sarado mo yung pinto! Lalabas yung aircon. Boss, napagkainit dito sa inyo eh. Una na ako ah. Gotta go. Joke lang. Huwag kang mag-alala. Wala naman akong mapae. Mag-stay lang ako dito. Sa piling mo. Ay?
There are a lot of beefs that have famous concerts attached to them. Like Tupac, he was at the House of Blues in the middle of his East and West battle that he had going on, the battle he had going on with BIGGIE. A lot of us remember when Jay-Z was going at it with Nas and Mobb Deep, he had the Summer Jam concert. Well, Kendrick did one of his own, and he changed up some of the lyrics that invoked Tupac into this beef in a very peculiar way, and it all came down to a ring. Yes, a ring. And it pretty much exposed how Drake became hip-hop Smithsonian Museum. So first check out this video about this epic concert that I did a video about of Kendrick Lamar's. Then after that, check out how Drake is pretty much a colonizer.
We got to witness a moment that feels like a turning point in hip-hop history. That's exactly what Kendrick's pop-out concert was. It wasn't just a show, it was a statement. A declaration that Kendrick is carrying the torch that every hip-hop GOAT once held, all while at the same time he induced himself into a story of where every king has a desire for their own personal crown. This wasn't just a concert, but the channeling of one spirit while burying another. The energy at Pop Out was electric. Fans knew they were about to experience something special, something historic. This landmark event was decorated with stars such as Russell Westbrook, James Harden, Big Boy, LeBron James, and many more. A facility full of rabid fans, LA gangbangers, with red and blue flags waving everywhere. Some would say never, never before seen. Some would say no other rapper could even attempt to do this. But there were a few that paced themselves and asked, where have I seen this before? Primarily, people right away would compare K-Dot's attire to that of the late great Pac. Tupac wore similar attire at the 1994 Source Awards, where he would rush the stage while Q-Tip accepted an award.
When Q-Tip was accepting his award, Pac just grabbed the microphone, sang, he brought his own sound guy, put his music in, and did Out on Bail.
Check it out, I'm stuck in jail. The DA trying to burn me, I'll be out on bail. If I had a good attorney.
Somehow the production person, the stage production manager, wasn't paying attention to what was really happening, and the motherfucker ended up pressing play in the middle of the Tribe acceptance speech. So Pac just comes out there performing all over their speech like he was shitting on their speech. That wasn't Pac's fault, but it looked like a flagrant Pac disrespect.
It looked like some Pac shit.
Right. It looked like a flagrant Pac disrespect.
Pac one-on-one.
Right.
You wanna label me a criminal and cuff me up. Got a pocket full of money, so they locked me up.
That shit, and then was backstage doing interviews like it was nothing.
What's the Source Awards mean to Tupac?
But they just don't know what's in the crowd.
They nominated me. That's good. You know, I appreciate that. I appreciate everybody that supported me through all these problems. And the Source just happened to be one of the main magazines that did that, so.
This is the energy K-Dot went for, and this message could be seen even down to the cross he wore.
Even down to the chain. Even down to the chain. There's actually a split image. Look, he was wearing a chain too. Both of them wearing hat. I know Pac had his hat backwards, but both of them had that cross chain. Both of them had denim jeans on. This boy is good, man. It's a fucking, he's a shrewd operating, a student of history. Fucking amazing.
But this was not the only page Kendrick would rip from Machiavelli's book.
No, it's gonna be girl. But he's gonna be better than me though. Well, where is the motherfucker?
You don't wanna fuck with me.
In July 1996, Tupac would perform his first, last, and only show at the historic House of Blues. This epic concert would be Tupac's war cry that would include the West Coast's top-tier talent, except the few that had ongoing disputes with Tupac, such as Dr. Dre, with appearances from Tupac's self-made group, The Outlaws, and all of Death Row's roster of Dogg Pound, Nate Dogg, Snoop Dogg, and others. The show became a Tupac and Friends concert where the unspoken theme was West Coast versus East Coast. Though folks showed to see a performance from maybe the greatest rapper to do it, everyone wanted to see what he had for his enemies.
It's this nigga named Nas, and he kicking with these niggas named Mobb Deep, and they kicking with some niggas named Bad Boy. But I say fuck them all, so I'm about to take this nigga beat and whoop his ass with his own motherfucking beat.
And he left no one disappointed, performing one of the greatest diss songs ever in the most dramatic fashion.
When this song drop, I want all the West Coast people to give us some love when this song come on. They tried to play this song. They don't want to play my song, but they want to play Fat Boy on goddamn day.
Almost 30 years later, another would come to do it. This time, the moment would not be captivated in a well-known club with newspaper beat writers and VHS camera recordings. But this time, it will be held in a forum, with the biggest lights shining in front of the entire world. Just like Tupac and Biggie's infamous beef changed the rap game forever, Kendrick and Drake's war of words had captivated the hip-hop world. And on this night, Kendrick was set to make one of his boldest statements yet. But first,
K-Dot would give an entire roster of some of the best rappers active in Cali their chance to shine. There were some notable faces missing. Do me one small favor before we continue. Please apply pressure to that subscribe button. Yes, apply pressure to that subscribe button. Many would question, was Snoop's relationship with Drake so strong that he would miss such a legendary moment for LA?
Big Snoop Dogg coming at you live from Canada. Sending a big shout out to K-Dot and all the homies from the West that stood together, unified, organized, in peace, love. That was beautiful. That was fun to watch. Beautiful to see all of my peoples come together. And K-Dot, you are the king of the West. That's the kind of shit kings do. We unite.
Absolutely no one questioned where was the game. A man who for a long time carried the LA crown on his own, which he fumbled from erroneous decisions.
Saying this shit for years, on my own.
Maybe he stayed away as a show of face, for his decision was made up weeks ago.
Now, the motherfucking Kendrick and Drake shit, that's Kendrick and Drake shit, nigga. You know what I'm saying? Kendrick do his shit, and what he did last night, that shit was amazing for the West Coast. I sat back and I watched it. I ain't have to be there, you know what I'm saying, to think that the shit was motherfucking cool and major. That's cool, man. I think it's a dub for the coast. I think that what K-Dot did for a lot of West Coast last night was hard as fuck, nigga. I think it was hard. I think it was dope of him and big-hearted of him to do that.
You niggas don't want to eat. You niggas don't want to eat, must not. You niggas starving. You niggas starving.
I looked out for motherfucking Kendrick like that. I looked out for Nip like that. You know what I'm saying? I looked out for Top Dog before it was, you know, Top. I could have, Top Dog wanted to motherfucking give me half a Top Dog. I didn't want nothing from niggas though, bro. I just wanted to push niggas in the right direction.
But everyone who attended got to see history. From the gate, K-Dot will let everyone know why we are here. But early on, he wanted to be clear about something. In Euphoria, where he usually says, matter of fact, I ain't even bleed him yet. Can I bleed him? Bet. He switches it for,
I ain't seen him yet. Give me Tupac, read back, and I might give you a little respect. Remember?
dispelling any doubt that this was the spirit of Machiavelli we're talking about. And oh, about this ring, inspired by Niccolo Machiavelli's book, The Prince, the ring was designed by Tupac himself in 1996 after he was out on bail for an SA charge. The crowns laced in diamonds represent the medieval kings of Europe as an act of coronation. It also has Pac and Dada 1996 engraved on it, referencing his engagement to actress Kadada Jones, daughter of Quincy Jones. Tupac wanted it to represent his rebirth personally and professionally. This is the ring he wore during his last public appearance at the 1996 MTV Movie Awards.
On that note, I know that Biggie and Puffy are here tonight. Did you see them? Do you have anything to say to them at all?
Nah, but even if we saw them, we are.
One interesting fact about the ring is that it was estimated to be auctioned off for anywhere between $200,000 to $300,000. But an anonymous bidder eventually grabbed it for over $1 million. This bidder, Aubrey Graham. So Kendrick, he ain't just demanding Drake to hand over Tupac's ring for the hell of it. Nah, this is about something much bigger. This is about reclaiming a legacy, about taking back what belongs to the culture. See, when Drake copped that ring at an auction, it was like he was trying to buy a piece of hip hop history, like he could just throw some cash around and suddenly be connected to one of the greatest to ever do it. But Kendrick, he knows that ain't how it works. You can't just purchase respect in this game. You gotta earn it. And by calling out Drake on that stage, by demanding that ring back, Kendrick was making a statement. He was saying that Tupac's legacy belongs to the people, to the artists who carry on his spirit and his message. Legendary moments attract legends, and one showed up to give Kendrick and Compton that OG boost, while actually getting a little payback of his own.
So where will we be? Without our legacy. Come on.
Dr. Dre was not going to miss this moment of Compton illuminating the world. He would bless the stage with his presence, and before leaving, he would get in a word for this battle.
Hold on, Dre. You ain't gonna say nothing else before, you know, we continue to party?
Yeah, okay. I'm gonna just take a moment of silence for this. I see people.
Was this just Dre helping out a fellow Compton legend? Or was this Dre taking a shot of his own?
Dr. Dre sent a nigga home that took patience. 4 Grammys to my name, 100 nominations.
This, we may never know. But Kendrick did not give us time to think, because he went on to perform Not Like Us, not once, not twice, but 6 times.
One more time.
Where he was shaming artists, an artist who attempted to use AI to gain momentum, but didn't understand we have a culture where Tupac speaks to us, something that AI could never replicate, and K-Dot would notify. This day was not just for K-Dot. He decided to have this event on a holiday exclusively for his people on Juneteenth.
Where Drake says, you rap like you want to free the slaves. You goddamn right. Yeah. And I'm gonna celebrate the slaves being freed on Juneteenth in LA at the Forum.
And on this day, he would get back. Tupac would pass just weeks after his House of Blues performance. Before he passed, he was working on an album called One Nation, where he would attempt to fix an East Coast, West Coast rivalry that he participated in, and some would debate helped create. Unfortunately, his time was too short to complete the long list of achievements that were ahead of him. So when Kendrick stepped on that stage at Pop Out, with the weight of his rivalry with Drake hanging in the air, everybody knew they were witnessing a moment in hip hop history, just like when Tupac took the stage at the House of Blues, ready to solidify his legacy in the midst of his beef with Biggie. But Kendrick did not let this moment pass, as he would say it himself.
This shit making me emotional, man. Fuck that. We've been fucked up since Nipsey died. Hold up. We've been fucked up since Kobe died. Hold up.
He used this moment to bring up everyone affiliated, no matter the flag, no matter the set, no matter the allegiance, as long as it was LA. Though it was a night where everyone wanted to see rage, what they were left with was peace. Thank you for watching this. And if you like this little documentary, I'm sure you'll love the other ones I have right here. In Kendrick Lamar's song, Not Like Us, one of the last lines in the 3rd verse summarizes what many would say equates to Drake's entire career.
No, you're not a colleague, you a f***ing colonizer.
But this bar would soon reveal to be much deeper than previously perceived.
We will not rest until our target is met.
In Kendrick's historic groundbreaking concert, the Pop Out Show, he shook up hip hop by making a prolific statement.
I ain't seen them yet. Give me Tupac, read back, and I might give you a little respect. Remember?
Tupac's crown jewels, purchased by Drake, would turn out to be one of a few hip hop rare artifacts owned by a Canadian Jewish man who was bent on getting his hands on as much significant cultural memorabilia as possible, plundering documents, precious metals, and even masters in an effort to become hip-hop's very own colonizer. Though none of these items are stolen, the anger in his ownership of these items is just the same. In his video, Family Matters,
Drake could be seen wearing a chain with what looks like an engagement ring attached to it. Rumors would arise, could it possibly be the engagement ring of Kendrick's fiancée, Whitney? Some would claim this to be true, while most deemed it all cap. The truth of where it came from is actually more intriguing than the lies. In the 19th century, there were stories of a diamond from India with over 100 carats illuminated with beauty. The Koh-i-Noor diamond was first discovered by Shah Jahan. The owners would change as invaders and empires would rise and fall, usually symbolized by their gain and loss of the diamond, till the message of his glamour would make it to England, where Lord Dalhousie would set his sights on obtaining it. England at the time was one of the most brutal colonial empires. They would mark the Koh-i-Noor diamond as the ultimate sign of power. In 1849, Dalhousie would have his opportunity when the current owner, Ranjit Singh, would give up the ghost, leaving the diamond as well as the throne till his 10-year-old son, Dilip, whose mother was quickly jailed by Dalhousie until he gave up the Koh-i-Noor diamond, which today is instilled in the UK crown jewels.
The Britishers have taken it illegally. So this doesn't need any legal action. It's just a polite reminder that you are the custodian of this diamond, right? And you should give it back to us.
This would not be the only tale of plunder from an empire set on control and colonization. In South Africa, a diamond with over 3,000 carats became a target.
While the cullinan isn't the same symbol of plunder, the original stone, uncut, the size of a human heart, was mined on stolen land and gifted to King Edward VII by South Africa's colonial government.
Those diamonds there were gotten through the spilling of blood of innocent people whose only crime was firstly that they were native to that country.
Both Indian and South African cultures, history and struggles on display are part of a legacy of destruction.
It is very important that the previous colonizers and the current colonizers, they need to take responsibility. Otherwise, there will never be justice.
Isn't it a farce that it was Indian diamond, now they have South African diamond? So what is the difference between India and South Africa? Not this colony, but that colony.
In 2022, Pharrell would hold his first in-house auction with his new digital media company, Jupiter, placing up for sale some of the most decorated hip-hop pieces of all time. After celebrities such as Kim Kardashian and Kid Cudi were able to purchase some of the pieces, the majority of the collections ended up in the hands of Aubrey Graham. Included in this collection is a list of items such as a diamond-encrusted skateboard, a gold PSP, some yellow diamonds, which some claim to be the engagement ring worn by Drake in Family Matters. And finally, a 3-tone nerd pendant with each member of the group, which sold for a whooping $2,184,000, which now stands as the most expensive hip-hop item sold. Drake would flex this exuberant memorabilia in his video Jumbotron Shit. While he claimed he was paying homage to the nerd's legend, this would come into question when he would state in the song called Meltdown, presumably speaking to Pusha T, one whom he suffered defeat in a battle to. He says,
I melt down the chains that I bought from your boss, give a fuck about all of that heritage shit.
Could Drake have burned down the legend's well-known artifact, destroying an expensive piece of history like how the English royal family decimated the Cullinan diamonds? Well, he would answer this question once while addressing Kendrick.
You wanna take up for Pharrell and come get his legacy out of my house?
This line would at least confirm their existence. Do me one small favor. Before we get too far in this video, apply pressure to that subscribe button. Tupac took his jewelry seriously. He wore it to symbolize his struggle.
I'm trying to bring 1989 back. I was broke in 89. Plus, they had me in jail for a year for a crime I didn't commit. So they locked me in chains. I'm gonna come out and turn the chains into.
In an almost fatal incident in 1994 Quad Studios, Tupac was shot 5 times while also being robbed for thousands of dollars in jewelry. While Tupac would be subsequently locked in jail for assault charges, somehow his counterpart rival was photographed with a ring and necklace Tupac was relieved of in Quad Studios. When Tupac would be released from jail, part of his redemption would be symbolized in a ring he himself designed.
It was a jeweler here in New York. Tupac designed the ring, and he had his godmother, Yasmin Fula, who was a Black Panther, fly back and forth from Los Angeles to New York with his designs, meeting with the jewelers to make sure it looked the way he wanted it to. So he very much wanted a medieval crown style. He wanted diamonds, he wanted rubies, he wanted gold, he wanted it to be elaborate. So this is the only piece that has come directly from someone close to him, where we can document the provenance. The estimate on this ring is $200,000 to $300,000. That estimate has nothing to do with the materials. I mean, it is made of gold and diamonds and rubies. But when we put estimates on unique objects, the estimate is based on the history and the provenance, the value, the importance of the piece.
The ring, it was estimated to be auctioned off for anywhere between $200,000 to $300,000. But an anonymous bidder eventually grabbed it for over $1 million. This bidder, Aubrey Graham. A question one could ask is, who did Drake bid against for this ring to where the price jumped to over $1 million, making it the holy grail of hip hop? Could it have been his determined adversary who was not willing to remain silent?
I ain't seen him yet. Give me Tupac, read back, and I might give you a new respect. Remember,
in street politics, as well as hip hop, jewels has always signified strength and power, flexing, serving as crowns for those who have rose to the top in status alike. These jewels can serve as a remembrance of accomplishments achieved from a perilous start. But what happens when these items of power and significance end up in the hands of someone who does not represent the struggle of its previous owner? In the HBO hit series The Wire, a ring became an underlying story of street economics, checks and balances, where only the one truly strong enough to possess it would be able to keep the honor that came along with it. The ring would first appear when Old Face Andre's shop was robbed by Omar.
You heard what the boy said?
Andre, the ring's first owner, rotates and removes it in an effort to retain ownership. But that wouldn't last long. Eventually, Marlo, one of the main antagonists of the show, calmly commands Andre to hand over the ring.
Fingers swelled over the years.
Need some help? Yeah, man. You need help?
Nah, I got it.
He would fumble the ownership when Omar once again comes into the presence of the precious item, but this time capitalizes off the situation. He robs Marlo of the ring at a poker game.
This ain't over. Well, that's how you carry the shorty.
After Omar, the next owner would become Officer Walker, a degenerate cop who would use his badge as a tool to command control of the item, different from the last two owners.
Boy, you don't know the rules of this here game. Rules? Yeah.
But fate would still reign supreme when Officer Walker was not only robbed of the ring, he was shamed as well, making a young shooter named Michael the lucky new owner. The story of the ring ends when Marlo once again sees the ring he once had in the hands of Michael, the one who would eventually replace him.
Yo, where you get that ring from? Took it from a nigga.
He questions him, but never asks for it back, understanding the ring was where it belongs with the one who represented its story. Drake's ambition of cultural control goes past artifacts and jewelry. Weeks ago, Joe Budden would introduce a theory from following the money that Drake has a deal with Gamma Records, who owns the rights to Sexy Red, 4 Bats, Meek Mills, and Rick Ross. And in this deal, Drake would procure a piece of ownership and publishing rights of each artist's catalog. Joe Budden would get a chance to interview the CEO of Gamma Records, Larry Jackson.
My wild theory was that Drake had to have some type of hand in Gamma, which is why he's promoting Ross albums and Sexy Red, and he must have some type of deal that's not even available to other people, to whereas he gets to be the owner and player.
You want the truth?
Sure.
So between Apple, Eldridge, which is Todd, Alpha Wave, which is my friend Rick Gerson, and myself putting in money, real skin in the game, as they would say. Those are the investors, you know?
While he would deny these accusations, ironically, this interview would only strengthen the volume of these rumors.
But do you think that Drake's deals are a point of contention for his peers?
I can't answer that question. It's not appropriate or my place. I have to definitely display good cultural etiquette. So, do you like your water? Would you like any ice with that?
No, this is excellent.
This theory answers the question that was asked of why. Just this past November 2023, Drake promoted Meek and Rick Ross's album. It would also answer the question on why Drake has so many enemies, denying sample clearances and sending cease and desists. If true, this would make him not only one of the biggest streaming artists ever, but an empire. While only time will tell, he already has some of the most powerful people behind him.
Now, this Not Like Us song was so controversial that, I mean, the first one that really, you know, went through something over this song was Rick Ross, because he got checked over this song, right? But even with Drake trying to sue, as far as like, a lot of us think that he doesn't want this song being played at the Super Bowl, it just made Not Like Us one of the most controversial songs, not only rap songs, but songs period in music. So I also wanted to talk about how Not Like Us is a song that comes from a line of other songs that's been banned in America in some form or fashion. Like even when Drake moved to Houston, people were complaining that they couldn't hear the song on the radio. So it almost made Not Like Us like taboo, like the most popular taboo song. Check it out.
On Canada Day 2024, Rick Ross had a tumultuous time headlining this festival held in Vancouver, Canada.
Canada, the boss back. The boss is back. Vancouver, we finna shut this bitch down.
Violence broke out last night following American rapper Rick Ross's performance
This was not an unwarranted occurrence, as Rick Ross taunted for weeks before his visit.
And I ain't hating, but be safe, my nigga. If something was to happen to you and I couldn't tell you this, be safe. And anybody getting on it, be safe, man.
After being approached by Hell's Angels gang affiliates, people would wonder, how did Rick Ross get booked for Canada Day after weeks of trolling and taunting? Some felt it was justified payback for pushing boundaries.
Hope that he now has a different perspective and a better sense of what to do and what not to do while you're out in the world.
While others suspected a deliberate setup.
Now we all know Drake is affiliated with the Hells Angels. The person that attacked Rick Ross after his concert when he played Not Like Us in Vancouver is a Hells Angels rapper by the name of Icarus. It was a straight up setup in my personal opinion.
The rest would know this is not a story unseen before. Do me one small favor. Before we get too far in this video, apply pressure to that subscribe button. In the 90s, a young Biggie Smalls would make his mark on the mainstream industry with his single, Juicy. As any new artist, Biggie would begin to book shows in different parts of the country outside the East Coast norm. Little did he know his Sacramento show could have very well been his last.
Weeks before Biggie's Sacramento show, he would go on a radio station in New York City and share some unpopular opinions.
Dude had gotten drunk in a magazine back in the days, and they told him, they say, get real drunk and we're gonna do just do some on a scale from 0 to 10, you know, what you think about certain rappers. I was just so happened to be one of those ones that he said he gave a 0 to out of 10. I'm West Coast royalty at that time.
So how did you feel about that, man, when he gave you a 0?
I heard that shit too, and he ranked me in. He ranked me in 40 on some fucked up shit.
You never lose your street mentality. If fools want to, you know what I'm saying, step on your soil, you know what I'm saying? If a fool come at you on tape or something, it depends on who it is. I'm gonna come back on them. If they're a small fry, I ain't even trying to get at them. But if they got a name for themselves and they call themselves embarrassing me, I'm gonna get back at them.
At the time, two of the most prominent West Coast artists were E40 and Spice One. So the stage was set for a confrontation of two up-and-coming MCs from two different coasts fighting to get their voice on a national stage.
And why did you have beef with Biggie Smalls?
We was
on tour.
Though the confrontation was quick and to the point, its effects is still talked about to this day.
Smalls got to get on stage. Who the fuck is that? We don't even know who the fuck this nigga is, really, at this point. This nigga with Pac or whatever, I done heard this nigga name in the magazine or whatever, talking about Pac, 40, and Spice One. So we get off stage and whatnot, and when we get off stage, everybody basically leaves. This can clear out. Niggas is like, it's maybe like 30 left in that when this Biggie get on stage.
We're in Sacramento to do a show. We get there, it's like a warehouse. And we don't see too many cars. We don't see, it's a little weird. So we're like, well, I guess the crowd is light tonight. They have a DJ playing. And we're still looking around, we're like, it's not a lot of people here. It's maybe 10, 15 people at the most. Big goes on. He's performing. All of a sudden they start throwing coins at him. I'm like, yo, what the fuck is that about? We head out, get to the back. The limousine is there, but the driver's gone.
He finished his show, and we backstage at this point, and this nigga finna get the limo. And that's when I approached him.
You know, my cabinet, you know, there's a lot of little young hyenas, little rattlesnakes.
The limo door was open, so I was able to put Big in there. They come up and they just very irate. That was some bullshit your man said in the newspaper. He did the article about my man.
I'm like, say, what's up with this? You talking this magazine?
All of a sudden, you start hearing the trunks of cars open. You know, just him, boom, 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 boom. Like, what the hell is that? And you just hear, turn around, I'm like, oh, shit. It's a gang of dudes with guns.
I had that 50 on me, that Desert Eagle. You know what I'm saying? You talking about my people's niggas ain't for play out here, nigga. We still out here. Gun you down in this happening. And at the same time, I got 2 caterers behind me. Like, niggas soak this shit, you know what I'm talking about? You get down around, it's Killer Cali at this point. You know what I mean? Smack nigga ain't gonna do it, make me more famous. So, you know what I mean? He fucking with some goons at this point. 40 and them, 40 ain't here to save you. None of that.
I said, you know what? Get that man on the phone. I think that man and Big need to talk.
40, what you want me to do with this Biggie Small with me? We in Sacramento, what you want me to do with this?
But see, what end up happening is, cousin Max Shine jump in the middle. Hold on. I got 40 on the phone, man. 40 want to talk to this nigga. Why, right?
And I called us, he got on the phone, I talked to him. I had him.
They talked for maybe 5 minutes. He hands the phone back out. I was like, yeah, so what is it, man? He was like, you know what, you was right. Get the phone back to the little dude. I get the phone back. He was pissed. Yeah, but nah, we got him right here. He ain't going nowhere. We got him. So I guess your boy was just like, listen here, man, let him go. And give old boy the phone back.
So I respect my older cousin, because at the time it was a real organization. So I'm like, all right, nigga, I back up off. But at the same time, we finna get on you. The word is go, we finna get on you. hand me the phone for a second. He like, Lil Bruce. 40 tell me like this. You know, 40 tell me like this. He like, Lil Bruce.
I say, man, let that man go, man. Get that man back to his room, whoop-de-whoop.
I be in New York, not by myself. So if you smack that, somebody gonna turn around and smack me. So I let the nigga go. I was a nigga gave the nigga pass. You know what I mean? Not to say that cousin 40 didn't get a nigga a pass. You know what I mean? Because he came from the word, came from the top, and he was like, you gonna have to let that nigga ride.
But he gives me the phone. He said, listen, I'm gonna have 2 of my boys escort y'all back to the hotel. And they're gonna stay there until y'all catch the plane in the morning. Because I don't know what any other knuckleheads is gonna do to you.
A couple of weeks later, I seen him and Puffy, me and my wifey, we in Vegas at the Wilson fight. Yep, we see him. We go ahead and take pictures and say, we got the pictures. We got pictures. I got a picture of it right now. I'm just gonna be posting it. It's on the net though. Me, him, Puffy. You know what I'm saying?
For the way that he got us, I respect him. For the way that he took care of us after we resolved the situation, I respect him even more.
And as usual with street politics, when determining how did Biggie get booked for that show in the first place, you hear 2 different sides.
Because he booked the show himself to make sure he knew where we were going to be.
It was a show in Sacramento. And I know it sounds stupid, bro, but I had no idea it was a show. I had no idea. Them niggas called me at 11 p.m. at night.
Biggie Smalls would go on to become one of the biggest rap artists of all time with only 2 official albums released. He later on would give up the ghost in Los Angeles. However, before his passing, Biggie and E40 were able to reconcile their differences, a result highly unlikely with Ross in Vancouver.
Canada, the boss back. The boss is back. Vancouver, we finna shut this bitch down.
A question asked is who booked Ross and was it a setup?
It was a short altercation. Security did a great job, and then Ross was, before you knew it, everybody was sort of exited, and everyone exited safely, which is always our primary concern.
How could they have not done their research on Ross, who has no filter on how he felt about Drake?
I'm gonna tell y'all, it's like battling against nerds. It's like sitting in a class and you watching all the nerds put together their best science project to present to the class. Man, y'all can have that shit. I ain't with that shit. Nigga, your nose fake, your stomach fake. You don't write raps. Your biggest homies in foreclosure. Come on, man. And I ain't hating, but be safe, my nigga. If something was to happen to you and I couldn't tell you this, be safe. And anybody getting on it, be safe, man. Huh? Soon as rose on your ass and you call your mama, then I'ma post Birdman and kiss him on TV.
This is 1 hour ago.
Fish tanks and marble floors living big and bad. Niggas laugh until they hit with my official jab.
But still, the signs were there. Just like Biggie in Sacramento, he entertained a crowd that seemed to have something else on their mind. The breaking point came down to a song being played to a crowd that included some that just wanted to see blood. This mirrored a similar situation in Stockton, California, where Biggie faced danger over a song choice.
Biggie really did almost get killed for performing Who Shot You?
Oh yeah. This time, it would be a West Coast rapper, Drew Down, that would come to the rescue.
Biggie, you know, it was fun with Biggie. Biggie was a nigga, man. He was a good nigga at the time, too. You feel me? But he came down, I think it was Modesto or Stockton or somewhere over there in the cuts. And we was telling us, do not do that song, my nigga. These niggas already on you, niggas, like wolves looking at a chicken. You feel me? And that nigga didn't give a f. He just busted out. Who shot you? Oh my God. The crowd just went cuckoo, right? We pulled the nigga, boom, get in the limo, come on, man, get in the limo. Right when we coming out, about 100 motherfuckers hit the corner. Like, nigga, get in the car, nigga, get in the car. Man, just busting out the side. You know, the limo windows big, and busting them out. I'm like, hold on, my nigga, just hold on, nigga. You feel me, nigga? Damn near listening to it, not. You know what I'm talking about? You can't hold 100. Somebody gonna do something stupid, you feel me? But most of the niggas was like, all right, but then broke the window out. We're like, man, get this thing up out of here, man. Get this thing up out of here. I think that nigga tasted death that day. It was on his neck.
In Vancouver, there would be no rapper that would help. Instead, an artist Snoop signed called Mercules displayed that he too wanted to see blood. Drake would show his appreciation to him and Hell's Angels for getting the job done.
Happy Canada Day. See, I'm rapping today. Happy Canada Day to everybody.
The culprits would go online displaying the precious gifts they obtained, but others would take to social media to send Drake a warning.
Drake, you don't need to be confined. You're too talented. I like you. I got friends that like you. I don't know you personally. Don't need to know you personally. But you're too talented to insert yourself in some shit that you're not really about. To have a whole coast at your head, you don't want that. I was on the road with Biggie when people would be singing Pac diss song while Biggie on stage. I seen this thing, and I've seen this man, you know, like, man, I'm not really about that. I love Buddy. Biggie never jumped into the shit. Biggie never said anything. Leave this shit alone, boss. Because it's not gonna be the rapper pull the trigger. It's not gonna be the rapper pull the trigger. It's not gonna be the rapper that robs somebody. It's not gonna be the rapper that do something. No, it's gonna be somebody looking for a come up. It's gonna be somebody looking for a come up. Or it's gonna be some super fan who gonna then do the shooting.
Rick Ross would come online to show his eyes still intact and that he can still see.
Man, I'm thinking about the event that happened over there. Let me tell you something. When the first dude stepped up to Rose, the little short fat one that looked like Bam Bam Bigelow from wrestling, when he stepped up, and then I squat down in his eyes and told him what I said. Basically, boy, if I hit you, I'm gonna see everything you ate for the last 2 days. His balls dropped out of his ass. He never said another word. He never did nothing. He was a straight buster. Then the nigga behind him said, I know MMA. My eye? Hey, man.
But one thing's for sure, neither him nor us can see what this beef will eventually become. Kendrick Lamar's classic diss song, Not Like Us, has continued to break record after record ever since its release on May 4th, 2024, recently breaking Tupac's record of most streamed diss track in rap's history, becoming the bop track of the summer while also obliterating Drake's image. There has been a minute attempt to have this song banned in certain forums and venues, placing this song in the list of other songs banned from being heard in different forms or fashions.
Houston. Drake got Not Like Us banned in Houston. That's not unbothered. That's bothered. He put a cease and desist on Not Like Us. A stop order on Not Like Us. You said the cease and desist.
Since its debut, at least one rapper was placed in harm's way just for playing the track in Vancouver, as well as Michael Rubin recently saying he refused to play the track at an all-white party.
Because so the business relationships come out of it, it's good vibes, but like when you see stuff online like Drake was there this year and everybody was like, oh, they weren't allowed to play Not Like Us, like does that stuff bother you, and was that even true?
It was true, and look, for me, I'm always, I just don't think, Drake's my friend for a long time. I'm not going to invite him and then have, he's obviously going through.
Now wait, before we get started, I just want to say Michael Rubin in Vancouver refusing to play this track is nothing compared to the backlash these tracks have received, including FBI investigations and radio blacklisting, just for the government to conduct an investigation for one song that they just didn't understand the lyrics. Yes. Here's a list of songs in no particular order banned from airplay. But do me a favor, before we get too far in this video, apply pressure to that subscribe button.
Lola by the Kinks is a song derived in 1970 that tells a story of a man meeting a woman in a bar. After the first verse, the song makes a sudden turn when realizing this guy is not meeting a birthing woman, but rather a transgender woman. Several radio stations, especially in conservative areas, chose to ban the song because it dealt with themes of sexual ambiguity and trans identity, which were taboo at the time. Now, some would say if this song was released today, it would be received in a more positive manner, but me personally, I disagree. Sensitivity towards the issue can be seen in a rather exuberant manner when thinking about such performers like Dave Chappelle, who was met with heavy criticism even for joking on the topic.
I am not saying that to say that trans women aren't women. I am just saying that those that they got, you know what I mean?
Trans lives are not for your entertainment. It is not for
Lyrics such as, well, I'm not the world's most physical guy, but when she squeezed me tight, she nearly broke my spine. And, well, I'm not dumb, but I can't understand why she walks like a woman and talks like a man. I don't think today that this song would be well received, especially when dealing with a liberal media that's pushing for equality through censorship.
I said what I said, and boy, I heard what you said. My God, how could I not?
Meaning, you are not allowed to even joke about topics like this unless you yourself identifies as a transgender or branch under the nose. Interestingly enough, this song was also banned in the UK, not for the transgender topic, but because in the song, it mentioned Coca-Cola. Yes, the UK banned it for mentioning Coca-Cola, which went against its commercial advertisement policy. The Kinks switched Coca-Cola to Cherry Cola before it was then allowed to be played on the BBC. No, not this, that BBC. Next, Strange Fruit by Billie Holiday, 1939. The iconic song released in 1939 was a haunting ballad that condemned the practice of lynching African Americans in southern United States.
The report details a 1916 attack in which a mob lynched Jeff Brown for accidentally bumping into a white girl as he ran to catch a train. In an example from 1940, a crowd lynched Jesse Thornton for not addressing a white police officer as Mr.
Now you would think, why would they ban this song? Well, some Americans have problems with the bitter truth, especially being that this song was very direct and didn't embellish at all about the realities of the times. Lyrics such as southern trees bear a strange fruit, blood on the leaves and blood at the root, black bodies swinging in the southern breeze, strange fruit hanging from the poplar trees. Billie Holiday initially struggled to get the song recorded because her record label Columbia was afraid of the backlash it might cause. Eventually, she recorded the song with the independent label Commodore, which was more willing to take the risk. Holiday eventually went on to perform the song at some New York City clubs which had some of the only integrated venues in the country. The government would take action through the Bureau of Narcotics, where they would take advantage of Holiday's known drug addiction, and they would attempt to silence her with drug charges introduced. Though the government and southern states worked hand in hand to stop this track, it would still go on to become an anthem of the civil rights movement and one of Holiday's most enduring and influential recordings. Now, the weirdest one on this list is a track called Louie Louie done by the Kingsmen. This track was banned because basically nobody knew what the fuck they were saying. In what some may call a form of mumble rock, where the lyrics could not totally be scripted, leading it to be banned in many US states, mainly Indiana. It got to the point where the FBI conducted an investigation that took months, where the final result was this song was too unintelligible to be considered obscene. And on top of that, the track Louie Louie by the Kingsmen, you're not gonna believe this. It's gonna come to a huge shock, okay? You're gonna be in a huge shock on what I'm about to say.
It was a cover song from a black artist named Richard Berry. Although Richard Berry's version was the original, it was Kingsman's cover that became iconic, cementing Louie Louie as one of the most recognizable and influential rock songs of all time. It's funny how that works. Now, one of the most controversial songs in music history would come from NWA 1988, F the Police. This song was a confrontational and unapologetic expression of anger and frustration with police brutality and systematic racism.
Order, order, order. Ice Cube, take the motherfucking stand.
The song became a defining anthem from the group NWA, and crazy enough, led to the rise of gangster rap.
Fuck the police coming straight from the underground.
Lyrics such as beat a cop out of shape, and when I'm finished, bring the yellow tape. To tape off the scene of the slaughter, still getting swole off of bread and water. I don't know why they, or what, search a nigga down grabbing his nuts.
Dre residing. In the case of NWA versus the police department, prosecuting attorneys are MC Ren, Ice Cube, and Easy motherfucking E. Wait a minute, hold it. Order in the court. Ice Cube, take the motherfucking stand.
The song was also accompanied by just a wild video, which pretty much reflected the crazy lyrics on the track. In an unprecedented move, the FBI sent a letter to NWA's record label, Ruthless Records, and their distributor, Priority Records, expressing concern about the song's message and its potential to incite violence against law enforcement officers. While this letter was not an official ban, mainstream radio stations across the US refused to play F the Police due to its explicit content and inflammatory lyrics. Many saw it as too controversial and feared repercussions from law enforcement or public outrage. The song was also not promoted on TV, and its music video was banned from airing on most networks. NWA faced pressure from law enforcement not to perform the song during their concerts. In some cities, the police warned NWA if they performed that song that they would be arrested. One of the most famous incidents occurred in Detroit in 1989, where the group defied orders and performed the song, resulting in a near riot and the police temporarily halting the concert. This only elevated the group's rebellious image and added to their notoriety. So there you have it. These are 5 songs that has been banned somewhere and in some places in some form or fashion. You tell me in the comment section which one to you is the most surprising.
Well, Kendrick's song Not Like Us was just the beginning of his cultural terror that he put on Drake. He followed it up with one of the most interesting videos I've seen in a while, and it had a lot of Easter eggs in it, and even the Easter eggs were cultural. And on top of that, it even came down to the dance that Whitney did in the video. That was an Easter egg in itself.
My favorite part of the Not Like Us video is the ending. Kendrick is looking at an owl, obviously representing Drake's OVO mascot. And the owl was in a cage because you know this Pulitzer winner had to add some type of symbolism in this video. And the cage could represent a number of things. Like, it could represent Drake being locked up for certain things. It could represent Drake being a prisoner of his own success and image that he created. And especially with Kendrick walking away, it could be saying that Kendrick is going to continue on after this, where this is the peak for Drake. Like, his career is not going to go any further or get any bigger than this point. But the reason I really like this scene is because of the perspective of the cage. Because when we're looking from the owl's point of view, we don't see the cage. I feel like this is showing that whatever issue or issues the cage represents, Drake can't see it. He's so worried about Kendrick that he can't see the bigger issues that that we all see.
You gonna do that to this nigga, man? Or is that a vulture? That ain't no owl. That's a vulture. Oh, it's an owl.
And he a fan, he a fan.
You have some people hyping it up, saying that Drake has officially lost because Kendrick and his wife are clearly happy while they're dancing in his music video, while other people are saying that it's hypocritical to have your biracial wife in a music video with you But in that same song, you're talking down about people being biracial or being half black or etc. You also have people saying that this is the best music video to ever come out, that Drake can never compare to Kendrick, that Kendrick has officially won. Drake better not drop any more disses. Drake better not say anything. But then you have others stating that the video is not all that. Drake got something in store for him. Drake was just waiting on him to drop the music video. Regardless, what do you guys think about this situation? Crazy.
This friendship appears to be over. But before we get to the end, let's go back to the beginning. In 2016, DeRozan was interviewed for Slam magazine and said Drake is, quote, our man, and said he's, quote, really supportive of what we're doing. After DeRozan was traded to San Antonio, Drake shared this post calling DeRozan, quote, my brother. It's a post that's since been taken down. After the trade, DeRozan told ESPN that he went to Drake's house where the two chatted for hours, adding it meant a lot to him to hear what he meant to Toronto from someone like Drake. In 2021, Drake gave DeRozan a shout out in Lemon Pepper Freestyle with the lyric, my city love me like DeMar DeRozan. But then everything changed. First, DeRozan appeared on stage with Kendrick Lamar during a performance of Not Like Us, essentially dissing Drake. And to make matters even worse, DeRozan appeared in Kendrick's music video as Kendrick raps the lyrics, I'm glad DeRozan came home, y'all didn't deserve him neither. A shot at Drake's hometown, Toronto. And now some Raptors fans want to give DeRozan the old Vince Carter treatment with boos when he returns to Toronto next season. What do you think?
I think what's super cool about this moment in the Not Like Us video is when we're looking at Kendrick through the lens of the owl, we don't see any bars. And I think that that symbolism could suggest the reality of the owl not even realizing that it was caged in the first place, or the owl not being able to see its own limitations, much like Drake. I think Drake put way too much dip on his chip with this whole beef thing, and I think he thought he yielded way more power and influence in the culture, and I think that the way that he approaches the rap game, he assumed would be the best strategy for winning out this beef with Kendrick Lamar, and we have all seen that that has failed spectacularly. A manufactured pop artist like Drake being propped up by the white corporate mainstream industry is going to move in a way that produces results in the form of dollars. So the memes, the passive-aggressive, silly responses on Instagram stories, taunting Kendrick online with all of his friends and writers on the internet for weeks, pushing Kendrick to reply. I mean, all of it, everything that he does just feels like it's coming with an air of needing approval from people and needing to seem like the winner, seem like the best one, and getting the most engagement, likes, clicks. That's very evident even in his fan base, because when you talk to them about this beef, 9 times out of 10 they're going to bring up streaming numbers as if that's relevant, because in a rap beef, it's not about streaming numbers, it's not about any commercialization, it is about who has the raw talent, who's willing to take it there and go too far with the bars. And Kendrick Lamar has just absolutely moved like an assassin through this entire beef. And for Drake, I don't think the boy was ready. I don't think he knew what he was up against. And I think that he thought his position in the corporate industry was enough for him to skate through this beef unscathed. So having this owl locked in a cage and Kendrick Lamar staring him down, and us seeing the POV from the owl, that motherfucker can't even see his own cage, is brilliant symbolism if that was Kendrick Lamar's intention.
Kendrick Lamar just made one of the best diss track music videos ever. And here's some stuff that you might have missed that I'm going to tell you about. In the music video, Kendrick Lamar is wearing this blue tracksuit. And on the tracksuit, if you look very closely, you can see the dates 8/8/24. And I'm speculating that he's going to release an album on August the 8th of 2024. And if it's not the album, then it's the snippet of what we heard at the beginning of that music video. Either way, I'm hyped. There's also a scene in the music video where Kendrick Lamar is seemingly getting jumped at night by a person impersonating Drake wearing a ski mask. But he can't exactly touch Kendrick Lamar, being pushed off by his aura. Hence Kendrick Lamar just saying, hey Drake, you can't touch me.
No, I ain't seeing what I'm seeing. Did she just bang on this nigga? No. I ain't seeing what I'm seeing. Did she just bang on this nigga? Did she just Crip walk? Y'all people outside of LA don't know what that means. Did she just bang on this nigga?
Plan to show y'all the liar.
She banged on this nigga. She banged on this nigga.
I remember the scene where the picture is turned around in that room with the speakers around it. Kendrick Lamar, boy, that is referencing to a line in the Push Up song by Drake. I know my picture's on the wall when y'all cook up. Studio speakers, the picture is turned around. Hello. I know y'all caught that DeRozan line. DeMar DeRozan played for the Toronto Raptors. And now he's like, come back home to either the Clippers or Lakers, pick your choice. And then DJ Mustard wearing a Toronto Jays blue hat. Listen, the knocks at the door in the beginning of the video, that is our culture. That is us. That is all us. Shout out to Dave Free and Kendrick Lamar for directing this masterpiece. Masterpiece. There might be more hidden references, details that I missed. Y'all need to let me know. Put them in the comments. Let's talk.
To be completely honest, I thought this was the best part of the Not Like Us video. This was the best part. Simply because it's diabolical for Kendrick Lamar to have kids sing the A minor part in the background. Not only that, to jump on hopscotch squares, a child's game. You're not going to tell me that's not the ultimate fucking troll move. That is the ultimate troll move in that entire video. Whitney is a close second. Don't get me wrong. Having Whitney in the video dancing with the kids is a close second. But that move with the hopscotch and the kids singing in the background, that's number one.
It's been 24 hours since the release of the Not Like Us music video, and I think I found all the Easter eggs. Remember this scene from Family Matters? Kendrick attempts to recreate this, and he does a pretty good job. You then see Dark Lane demo tapes Drake walk up on Kendrick Lamar, and before he can even touch him, he gets snatched into darkness. Notice in this shot here, Kendrick Lamar has a picture that's off the wall. It's not on the wall, while Kendrick Lamar is doing push-ups. What did Drake say in the song Push-Ups? I know my picture on the wall when y'all cook up. This man is brilliant. He literally dropped and gave him 50. Now, if you look closely at Kendrick's tracksuit, it says 8/8/24. What's happening on August 8th, 2024? He's probably gonna drop an album on Kobe Day. Another theory that I seen online was this shot with the shipping containers. If you do any research on human trafficking, you know that it's often done in these kinds of shipping containers. Watch The Wire season 2. You will literally know what I'm talking about. Bro, it is also so crazy when you hear the A minor bar, you see Kendrick doing hopscotch. What is hopscotch? A children's game. By far the eeriest moment of this music video is when Kendrick Lamar walks up on the owl and just stares at it. But did y'all catch the symbolism though? You know the famous saying, all a caged bird gonna do is sing. And the cherry on top is that this video was directed by Dave Free, and it features an appearance from Whitney where she's clearly smiling and sea walking.
I want to talk about this owl pinata in the Not Like Us video. Obviously, it's a metaphor for beating up OVO, and, you know, destroying the symbol of Drake. I get that. But I think it was really strategic to choose a pinata because with pinatas at birthday parties, they're typically reserved for kids. And a lot of times, at least the birthday parties I remember growing up, kids would try as hard as they could to beat it, and sometimes some candy would come out, but usually an adult needs to come into the situation and take over and beat the piñata so that the candy can fall out in a mass. If you go back and watch the video, right around this part when he cracks it open, all this candy falls out quickly. And I just couldn't help but to think about how when that happens at a birthday party, it's usually the kids that go scrambling towards all the candy on the ground. The adults don't typically do that. Like, this is literally a child's game. And so I think that this message or this symbolism is communicating that Kendrick Lamar is doing this for the benefit of children, the same way that an adult at a birthday party cracking open a piñata would be doing it for the benefit of the children to get their candy. Because there's so many other ways he could have chosen to destroy an owl, but making it a children's game and it being something done for the kids, that's a really cool visual double entendre, if you ask me.
I like that. I like that. That I ain't gonna front on some white people shit. That warms my heart. Them throwing that money up there like that, that warms my heart. That warms my heart.
Is this something new? Is this something?
I don't.
She got a new one?
I don't know.
Oh,
It's
come
like,
on.
It's like a snippet or something. I don't know.
All right.
What's the password?
I see dead people. I see dead people. Hey, must have on the beat, ho, beat, beat, rap, nigga, eat a feet, though. I'm finna pass on this body, I'm John Stockton. John Stockton, yeah, I remember that.
Oh my God.
Baka got a weird case, why is he around? Certified lover boy? Certified pedophile. I'm gonna do my stuff. Why you trolling like a bitch? Ain't she out here? Probably minor.
Oh my God. There's no way.
Yeah. They not like us. They not like us. Hey, here's Whitney. Remember what he said, Drake said about her, man? Oh man, go. Come on, Whitney.
Look at that.
Uh-oh. What's that? Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Oh, woo, woo. Hey, what you gonna do, Drake? Woo, woo.
On the video, Not Like Us, the containers. I've only seen one person speak on this, and that was on YouTube. And I've done research on this myself, so I know for a fact that containers like that are used to transport women and children undetected in and out of the country. Protect him at all costs, baby.
He a fan,
Oh my God, no. Yo, if any fans, I'm sorry. Look, if any Drake fans were delusional before, that,
Oh my God, his wife, like he lost, he doesn't matter.
yo, look at the family. The family matters, bro. Look at the family. She hitting that shit, bro. Oh my God.
You run to a
Oh my God.
You need a few dollars. No, you not a colleague. You a fucking colonizer.
And I remember when this image dropped, bro, all the Drake fans.
Okay, but she doesn't even look happy. To be honest, she looks sad. Does anybody think she looks depressed?
Bro copes like an iPad kid.
All right.
Oh my gosh. Yo. Look at
Better hand the truth.
I thought she didn't like this nigga. Nigga, I thought she was OVO. I thought she did not like this nigga. Oh my God. So now he's a family man too? So he got everything up on this nigga Drake. This shit's fucking stupid, bro. I'm not gonna lie. This gotta be fake, bro. This AI shit getting too advanced. This not real, bro. I'm not gonna lie, bro. She was not physically there. I'm just telling y'all the truth. I'm telling y'all the real industry secrets that these niggas not willing to tell you. She was not there, bro. I'm just keeping a buck.
For the matter, it was God's plan to show y'all the liar. We matter and the truth.
No. Y'all got me pacing in the bathroom, nigga. In the bathroom. Boy, that's that pace you do when you think you got a girl pregnant. You come in the bathroom and just walk back and forth. No. The family matters. Drake, oh my God, Drake, yeah, Drake. Boy, this might be the biggest L Drake ever took in his life. This might be the biggest L Drake. This snapshot right here, this picture, whatever you want to call it, this frame right here. Oh my God, Drake. Oh my God, Drake.
Colonizer.
Oh shit, okay.
For the matter, it was God's plan to show y'all the liar.
Hey.
He a fan. here, fan here.
Hold on, she was hitting.
Nah, I ain't gonna lie.
bro.
She came through. I ain't gonna lie. But she kind of had to, though.
Hey, you know, B-Lou, I feel like Kendrick's been trolling Drake this whole time in this video, bro. Remember, Drake's whole angle was you and your wife having problems. She don't fuck with you no more.
Yeah, that's a fact.
It's under
Oh, and then the kids, where the kids?
But he's showing like, nigga, we in this bitch Crip
We in
walking,
this bitch. We a man.
You know what I'm talking about?
And then my nigga hit him
And
with
she's
the-
smiling.
Oh, yeah. And she hit him with the...
Hold on, she's smiling though. Remember Drake said she ain't smiling, she don't be smiling in the pictures? She's smiling, look.
The family matter and the truth of the matter. It was God's plan to show y'all the liar.
Look at that smile.
Having fun.
That's a happy woman to me.
Hey, hitting it though.
Nigga, what?
He a fan.
Oh, I got hit that all day.
Hey, nigga, he a 69 God.
Nigga ain't trying to have a crump battle though, nigga. Nigga, what?
Hello. What you wanna know?
What?
Oh.
Hold on.
What the hell is this? Reincarnated, I was stargazing. Life goes on, I need her, my babies. Woke up looking for the broccoli. Ownership, the blueprint is by me. Get off, I get off at my feet.
That nigga said the blueprint is by me. She get off, I tell her get off by me. Oh Lord. Oh Lord. Yo. Oh, we got Tommy in the bed. That's a legend right there. He said, hold up. What's the password? What's the password?
I see dead
Yo! Uh-oh.
You late.
Turn me up, Tommy.
CIP, ownership, the blueprint is by me. Mr. Get off, I get off at my feet.
All right, let's listen to this. Let's watch this. Hey, my people, we got Kendrick Lamar actually making an official video, not like us. Let's take this in now.
What's the password?
I see dead people.
Hey! Clean. That's got a clown. Leave Drake alone. I'm crying. He's got Whitney. No way. No way.
Hey.
Oh, got the owl in the cage locked up. I see the symbolism. Alright, I can't lie. I like the video. I like the song more, but the video is fire. The video is fire, bro. Wow. Yeah, it's gonna be an uphill battle for Drake. Good luck, man. Good luck.
Here's a few things you might not have noticed about Kendrick Lamar's Not Like Us music video, which just dropped, okay? Kendrick Lamar is diabolical. He dropped this video on July 4th, Independence Day in America. Okay, a holiday that Canadians like myself, we don't even really know what it means. Okay, he's saying, Drake, this is not for you. This is for us. And not only that, the pop-out concert was on Juneteenth, the real Independence Day when it comes to all Americans, not just some. Okay, so he's tying it all together saying none of this is for you, Drake. Not only that, but the biggest narrative from the OVO stands over the course of the last few months has been that Kendrick lives away from his family, that him and Whitney aren't together, that one of his kids isn't his, that Dave Free and Kendrick Lamar are not close. All of that was dispelled with one scene in this music video. At first, there were stills that came out of Kendrick and Whitney, and they weren't smiling, and people were still online saying, they're not really together. I know co-parenting when I see it. They were dancing on Drake's grave together with the kids. The entire family was dancing to the nail in the coffin to Drake, and this was the nail in the coffin when it came to any other narratives that there are about Kendrick and his family, which he mentioned on Euphoria, saying, I know the angle that you're gonna take when it comes to my family and Mr. Morale. Not only that, but at the very end of the video, it says Dave Free and Kendrick Lamar directed it together, dispelling any narratives when it comes to whether or not they are still close, okay? He directed the pop-out show, he directed this music video, and I'm sure PG Lang is as strong as ever, okay? That Kendrick didn't say anything on social media, didn't say anything in an interview. He did it all within the music and within this music video. Not only that, but all of the narratives surrounding Top Dawg extorting him and not being close with his label, TDE, Black Hippie, they are all together in this music video, all showing love, smiling. Top Dawg is laughing. Kendrick even did push-ups in the music video to reference Drake telling him to drop and give him 50. I bet you if you counted those push-ups, there are 50 push-ups in that music video, basically dispelling any rumor that there's anything wrong on the business side. I don't know if there's anything left to be said from the other side in this battle. I think it's completely over, and I think this is the biggest diss track. I know this is the biggest diss track of all time, and there's nothing else to be said. Kendrick Lamar is the greatest.
But y'all niggas gotta leave this nigga alone right now. All of y'all, not just Drake. All of y'all. Y'all gotta leave this nigga alone. Y'all gotta leave him alone. Don't do it, Loopy.
This in a diss track video. This is ridiculous.
In the record-breaking video, Not Like Us, one of the most artistic portions of the video was a scene in the living room where Whitney Alford, Kendrick Lamar's fiance, looks into the camera with her kids and K-Dot right by her side. By now, it should be known that she trolled Drake by wearing a wife beater in the scene. It's speculated that it was worn in response to the numerous times where Whitney Alford was mentioned by Drake with accusations of harm at the hands of Kendrick.
They hired a crisis management team to clean up the fact that you beat on your queen.
Keeping that in mind, alongside the fact she looked directly into the camera with her kids and K-Dot, and that signifies a family that is at the least well intact. But what might have been the most interesting part of this moment was when Whitney begins to perform a dance from a culture whose popularity would span over 6 decades. What is now, to this day, one of the most popularized urban street dances came from an origin of symbolism, which implications are the furthest you can be from peace. The Crip Walk and the Blood Walk. There is no way to talk about the Blood Walk and its history unless you talk about where it came from. The Crip Walk, whose popularity has continued to rise, has become the unofficial dance of Not Like Us, with fans taking to social media sea-walking to the classic diss track. But where did this dance come from? And how did it make it from LA crime scenes all the way to daytime talk shows? In the late 60s, off the heels of the Black Panthers, 2 organizations that were formed in southern LA that would later on become the primary face of crime were the Crips and the Bloods. They were initially created to protect their neighborhoods. The same organization who were formed to protect the neighborhood then turned the same neighborhoods into war zones. Both the Crips and the Bloods were formed as counterparts toward each other. And part of the ongoing war between the two was no different than McDonald's and Burger King. It was a branding war. This branding war evolved into gang signs, colors, team logos, and even a dance.
Do you remember the origin of it or where it comes from or anything like that?
Yeah, the Crips.
I figured that. But I'm saying, do you remember who the first person was that you saw Crip walk?
Crips.
In the early 70s, Robert Sugar Bear Jackson created a dance whose origins are a far cry from today's mainstream pop enjoyment of the dance. It was primarily created to establish that whatever was going on at the moment, whether it was a robbery, a fight, or even just a group gathering, that you were definitely in the presence of Crips. It ran adjacent to flat-out gang signs and were part of what was called banging, which is simply establishing dominance of a person's set either by throwing up the set, asking any particular person where they're from, or by blood or Crip walking. If you were caught doing it and were not affiliated, there would be consequences to pay. Which leads me to say, don't do this dance, Crip walk or the blood walk, unless you affiliated, because you never know.
They feel that C-Walk is a Crip ritual, not a dance, and have no respect for those that C-Walk and dance.
A gang of girls Crip walking this shit, woo. It's gonna get back hot, cause niggas is banging again. It's out here banging again. It's gonna get back hot.
As the Crips grew, the dance also grew, prompting the Bloods to create one of their own that emulates certain aspects of the Crip walk. Though it carried similar meanings as the Crip walk, its popularity would never match. DJ Quick, a pioneer in both West Coast rap and the Blood Walk, explains the differences.
It started with my nephew, Lil Rodney. He was playing around dancing, and everybody seen him doing it, and they liked it. They called me. It's like, check it out, Dave, you need to see this. He came in the house, and he started doing it. And I was like, oh, that's fly, you know. Let's tailor make it. Let's add some things to it, turn it into a routine. Maybe people will like it. So we busted it out at the show where you see us in the yellow shirts with Mossberg was there to see the country club. People got a kick out of it, so we started doing it more and more. It was actually called the skip walk first, but evolved into the B walk when people start Crip walking against us. And so it became a negative positive thing like it always does naturally. It's not like the Crip walk where, you know, it's like a gangbang dance in a sense, even though we call it the B walk because we, you know, us being Bloods and whatnot. It's just a dance to us. You know, it's the C walk. I think Snoop and them take it a little more serious as far as, you know, a neighborhood dance.
Throughout the years in the 90s, there were many songs that would not only cater to, but were created for the sole purpose of Crip walking. There would be one anthem that will rise above them all as the chosen melody, Corrupt's song, C-Walk.
C-Walk, homie. Yeah, homie. Get your walk on. C-Walk, homie.
But as far as today, the Crip walk has evolved, not only in its execution, but also in the street politics it once represented itself. A rolling 60s Crip would take this dance to the main stage, and it would catch on like wildfire. Dub C.
Dub C really was the one that put it on front page. You know, he was the one that did it in all the videos, and you know, he got his own little style where he hops side to side, keep his knees together and moves it and stuff.
Not only throughout Southern California, but across America, from house parties to club events, civilians would begin to Crip walk amongst each other, even C-Walk battles ensuing, to the point where there were more civilians doing the dance than Crips themselves.
I saw Bow Wow dance on the awards, and he was pretty nice with it, you know. He was pretty nice with it, but Bow Wow don't know nothing about no cripping, you know what I'm saying? But it's just a dance, you know. It's a dance to him.
But wait, before we go too far in this video, you know I need you to do me one small favor. Apply pressure to that subscribe button. This trend did have a break moment in the mid-2000s where a West Coast legend would put out a warning to those who chose to Crip walk with no affiliation. The message was direct, properly presented, and definitely calculated as Snoop would deliver this message on a track with the very man who made it popular, Dub C.
A lot of y'all pretend to be, wanna see friends with me.
In the 2003 track, In the Name of the Streets, Snoop would pass along this message. He would question the entire hip-hop community on Crip walking.
What you doing, C-walking?
Explaining that it's not just a dance, it's a way of living.
It's not just a dance, it's a way of living.
And flat out, you should not be Crip walking if you are not a Crip.
Now if you're C-walking, you're best to see cripping.
And that even applies to celebrities too.
And that go for kids too, and R&B singer. Quit Crip walking if you ain't a gangbanger.
And I'll be very honest with you, I remember when Snoop made this song, I was in college. I had just learned the Crip walk. And yes, I had to stop Crip walking. I was in LA, it was too dangerous. But 20 years later, the Crip walk movement has become of what some would debate as big as the Crip movement itself, to where it can be seen anywhere from middle America to white suburban dance classes to even Asia and Africa. Today, there are even tutorials on this dance.
5, 6, 7, 8, we going. Boom, boom, ha, and do, ha, toom, ha. Easy. We got one more step and then we're done with this Crip walk.
Even Snoop himself has now taken part in the commercialization of the dance, showcasing it with other celebrities.
I mean, you can't get mad at some shit for growing. You know what I'm saying? You gotta respect the game. You know, cause you didn't create it, so it grew to you. So you gotta respect the game and be happy that it's passing on and it's getting universal exposure. And people actually wanna know what the meaning of it is.
Since the 2000s, the B-Walk has seen a surge from newer artists doing the walk. Rappers such as Lil Wayne, Chris Brown, and YG have been seen doing the dance. Which brings back older days when artists would battle with this dance, as seen here with DJ Quick and Dub C. TDE artist J-Rock even has a well-known anthem for the dance.
Do the blood walk, I do mine like this.
Through the years, the Blood Walk has incredibly aligned with the Crip Walk, to where people begin to go online to argue which one was done by Whitney. But the answer was in the steps. It should be pointed out that most of today's version of both dances has not only departed from its brutal background, but also the execution has changed.
You seeing like basically the hybrid of Dub C's Crip walk gone across country. But if you look at some cats prior to Dub C, they walk different and stuff.
Done in its purest form, other enemy gang names could be seen crossed out on the ground, whereas today you rarely see this form. Whitney's version contains no crossing out of enemy names, which gives it less bravado. But since the reasons behind this scene is known to the masses,
I heard that one of them little kids might be day free.
It could be perceived just as threatening. As far as it being legit in this situation, of course, I'm not a Crip or Blood, but when it comes to a woman, affiliation is still key. And when I say affiliation, it could be a brother, cousin, or boyfriend that's a part of this. And whether that's known or not doesn't matter. It's still disrespectful. And I say rightfully so. I must add to this, Drake made a habit of using the term Crody, which is a Canadian Crip way of saying Brody.
Yeah, that's my cat's name is Crody.
The other cat as well? Crody?
Crody.
Crody.
Crody. You gotta say it like that though. Crody.
Crody.
Yeah, exactly. Thank you. Cheers. Cheers to Crody.
Which has been a term Kendrick himself has used throughout this battle.
Family Crody. Talk about me and my family Crody. Someone go bleed in your family Crody.
You're gonna get something called the word pressed. Press is the definition of banged on, disrespected, violated.
Taking this information in, I highly doubt that whatever form this dance was done by Whitney, the message I would not consider playful. No, I ain't seeing what I'm seeing. Did she just bang on this nigga? She banged on this nigga. She banged on this nigga. But regardless, on it being possibly the first drill dance and one of the country's most popular dances, surviving 6 decades in American street culture, its popularity can never erase its monstrous origins. But Whitney's dance was not about popularity at all, but could be interpreted as taking this dance back to its roots. One of the moves that we can't forget in this battle comes from J. Cole. If you remember, this battle was really supposed to be between the big three, Cole, Drake, and Kendrick Lamar. But I'm pretty sure a lot of y'all know to this point, J. Cole had backed out. And I believe that this will always leave some type of stain on his career. I made a video about it. And to me, J. Cole became the Cowardly Lion. J. Cole finally responded to questions of what made him apologize and where he stands as far as Kendrick and Drake. His official response was something far removed from competitive rap beef and has become a part of a new era of the battle after the battle.
That Drake is 37 years old and he says the N-word 37 times on this track.
Where if competition fails, then memes and moments come in to replace them. And man, did J. Cole add another moment to this historic rap beef. People took to X and other platforms to express how more disappointing Jermaine Cole made this entire situation. Mainly because this is a situation Cole had a portion of his creation, yet showed the bravery and courage ready for a battle. But when it was time for war, the story comes straight from the movie The Wizard of Oz, to be exact. J. Cole has become the Cowardly Lion. When the lion first appears in the movie Wizard of Oz, he terrifies the Tin Man, Scarecrow, and Dorothy. Put him up, put him up! Which one are you? He uses antics and a roar to displace the group, unsure of how to move forward. It's not until Dorothy had enough and takes action when the lion grabs her dog and everyone discovers something is missing from the lion.
Shame on you! What did you do that for?
He lacks courage and is deeply ashamed of his fearfulness, despite his title as the King of the Beasts.
In another hour, I'll be king of the forest. Long live the king.
Please do me a favor, before we get too far in this video, apply pressure to that subscribe button. When you look deeper into the story of J. Cole, you don't only see one of today's rap superstars, but a combination of a new outlook on lyricism with a touch of nostalgia, which would lead one to think he will be inclined to participate in a battle of friendly competition, especially when many times, just as any other rapper, but more so even with Cole, he's lyrically braggadocious. Easy examples could be found anywhere from tracks such as First Person Shooter, which we will talk about in a second, and Johnny P's Caddy. It is beyond clear that Jermaine strives to be the king of the wilderness, and he made us all believers. I mean, we was ready to roll out the red carpet for him. Like the Cowardly Lion, Dorothy and the others knew that he lacked the courage, but since he became so cool, they decided to support him and his goals. He was helpful, so why not? As long as if we respected him as king, if anyone ever tried anything, he'd finally show us these powers that he spoke of. And you know what? The lion, just like Cole, promised them.
Your Majesty, if you were king, you wouldn't be afraid of anything?
Not nobody.
Not to mention, he had some bars too.
Not even a rhinoceros? Impossible.
How about a hippopotamus?
Why, I'd trash him from top to bottom.
But Cole really wanted us to believe this Big Three theory, King of the Wilderness. To prove it, he teamed up with Drake on a track called First Person Shooter. Drake and Cole called all the people to the land to watch an all-out war. Kendrick will respond, letting everyone know he is ready for war as well, calling out Drake and Cole directly by name. Cole would drop 7-minute drill, but the song did not sound the same as others. This was not the usual king. This was not his usual roar. Similar to the lion, once it's evident that Dorothy and the others were not afraid of the Cowardly Lion, he decided to join the group to meet the wizard, where hopefully he can get some courage. Throughout the movie, time again, the lion fails to be courageous, though he declares not only to be a dangerous one, but the king. And when his friend Dorothy is captured, he wants no parts of the rescue mission and only participates from being forced by friends.
I may not come out alive, but I'm going in there. There's only one thing I want you fellas to do. What's that? Talk me out of it.
Well, you have your wish. After J. Cole dropped 7-minute drill, the story goes, a TDE member called J. Cole to warn him of the many dangers ahead. After receiving the call, Jermaine had a choice to make. Risk hurting himself in what became a very intricate war, but finally get to show everyone you deserve to be king. Or sit this one out and figure out another way to get the people to believe you are the one. And at this moment, J. Cole would become the Cowardly Lion.
And I pray that, I pray that y'all are like
forgive a nigga for like the misstep, and then I can get back to my true path.
He would leave his friend Drake in the midst of war in what will become a 20v1, where the world would watch his friend collapse.
My real friends are definitely in the building. But I'm gonna tell you, you're gonna come to a point in life where people you thought were friends, or people you thought were close to you, they might switch up, they might try to move funny with you, they might stab you in the back, they might do a lot of things to you. You'll come to that realization, wherever you're at in life, you've probably been there and you'll be there again. That's how life is. But look, sometimes it's you and you alone by yourself. Sometimes it's you alone with your thoughts. Sometimes you know what?
They tore my legs off and they threw them over there. Then they took my chest out and they threw it over there.
So Cole skipped away, took bike trips around Long Island. But to be king, my friend, you have to fight. But who wants to fight and be king when you can just believe?
I do believe in spooks. I do believe in spooks. I do believe in spooks.
Hey, you can miss me with the sympathy. He said it himself. He's trying to bring back competition.
I'm trying to revive a sport that's dying, but
Okay, but how do we know this? Was Drake wrong if he felt Cole should have joined? Why, absolutely not. The two was seen on stage multiple times, kissing and hugging, especially when his other friends came to the rescue. So why would he not think his friend would come to war after Jermaine spewed such quotes as,
lightning struck, power outage, sparks was flying, the real one's here, the young boy that walked with lions.
And
nerves thinking that you niggas hard as iron, but that just mean I ain't as comfortable as y'all with lying.
After weeks of wondering where the king of the wilderness was, Cole would finally respond on a soulful track called Port Antonio, using a sample from Reasonable Doubt that I'm sure made Dame Dash happy.
Just see me and see if I'm the real deal.
Cole explained his side of the story while making the song cry. Just like the line, he came clean on why he lacked the courage to back his words. If that means I gotta dig up dirt and pay the whole team of algorithm bots just to sway the whole thing on social media competing for your favorable memes. He makes sure we know that he wasn't up for the fight by implying this wasn't a fight he was up to. It's just horrible memes. One could interpret this track as him saying he wants no parts of the verbal destruction that comes along with rap beef, even though he appears to have the courage, bravery, and competitiveness to participate. But he couldn't handle seeing all the blood that comes along with this, almost as if he took this straight from a TikTok meme. He assured everyone not to worry, that he is still king of the wilderness. One part of the track of Port Antonio that made things complex is Cole insinuating that he is trying to separate himself from Drake, which he assured is never the case, and that he's sorry. In this heartfelt track, Cole aimed to gain the heart of hip-hop back on his side by promising everyone who ever doubted that he is still the king, asking if you ever seen a king such as him. To be fair, J. Cole did make 7 Minute Drill, so he did talk back. There is some bravery there. He just has to find it. And at the end of the day, yes, this is a parody because really, we all love J. Cole. He almost kicked Diddy's ass. He's just a cool guy, and it's okay to be a cool guy. But if you want to be king, you have to show us. That's what helped make hip hop what it is today. Not violence, not taking someone else's woman. Well, that too. But at the beginning of hip hop, there was rap beef. It's crazy to note that in the Wizard of Oz movie, the lion went to see the wizard for courage, but realized after dealing with so much turmoil that the courage was already there. He did not see it himself until the wizard gave him a medal.
You are now a member of the Legion of Courage.
Then he discovered all those aggressive things he proclaimed to be capable of were already inside of him. He was just too insecure about upholding an image he created. So he became the Cowardly Lion.
Drake took one of the most brutal losses in rap battle history, and I'm gonna say it was even more brutal maybe than Ja Rule. because of social media, right? Social media just fanned the flames, and the flames got out of control. And I think it invoked Drake to make some behavioral moves that we've never seen a rap battle loser ever take. I mean, he had some moments at these Toronto Raptor games that just came off feminine to me, man. It reminded me of the movie Mean Girls, and I had to make the comparison. But not only that, I think I was one of the first YouTubers to point out that this beef might have put Drake's life in danger. Yeah, it might have put Drake's life in danger because he had just sold his catalog off for a certain, well, you know what? I'm gonna let you watch the video. But I made this video months ago about how this beef kind of put Drake's life in danger. You should definitely check it out.
In the last few months, we would get to witness one of the greatest battles in hip-hop history. Kendrick Lamar and Drake's beef would spread through the world's speakers while ripping through the Billboard charts as well. Just like any other war that has taken place, there has to be a winner and a loser. What would seem to be a regular rap battle, though, can actually be turned into a fatal position for Drake from so many deals being made with an expected return of investment. Kendrick Lamar has placed Drake in a dangerous scenario not unseen before, in fact shared by some top-tier artists that he himself has compared himself to.
I could dance like Michael Jackson.
One of the most mysterious industry deaths known comes from the greatest entertainer ever. In 2009, a 50-year-old Michael Jackson was preparing himself to go on another world tour. The king of pop was unknowingly a genius when it comes to business moves. The problem was he had to pull in a large amount of revenue due to a very aggressive spending habit he had.
These will be my final show performances in London. This is it, and see you in July.
The tour, This Is It, was maybe not for artistic reasons so much as for the $400 million debt he himself and his business partner Sony placed him in. The fiasco started as far back as 1985 when Michael Jackson, through power of attorney, struck a deal to purchase the Beatles catalog for $47 million. The portal he used to make this acquisition happened to be the same portal he would fight against for the rest of his life.
So it's water under the bridge. You had mentioned dirty tricks.
Yeah.
Give us an example of what you would consider to be dirty tricks.
John Branca would be a name known to the MJ estate for years to come.
Well, on the whole Beatles acquisition, it was owned by this Australia, it was called a robber baron named Robert Holmescourt. And he owned this UK company. The Beatles lost it in some tax scheme. So Michael had an investment committee and everybody said we were going to pay too much, don't buy it. Very smart people. The only time I ever got a power of attorney from Michael, he signed because he didn't want to fly to London and sign the doc. So I go to, and he said, I promise you if you come to London, we'll make a deal. So I went to London. I promised him that Michael would show up at his charity event in Perth, Australia to close the deal, and we signed the deal. I go to London and I sign the deal, and Richard, who's a client of one of my partners, calls me up and he says, what's that word they use for you American lawyers, prick? I had to do it. There was no way I could not close this deal for Michael. 47.5, but there was a background music library. You know, these are like music cues on TV shows that nobody cares about, like a knock on it, that kind of thing. We sold that to Clive Calder for $6 million, so his net price was 41.5.
This deal would make Michael Jackson the owner of 50% of Sony's catalog. The two were flat-out business partners with the ATV music publishing company that they shared ownership with. The move would anger Paul McCartney, along with a list of many artists.
And it is true, he did ask me, he said, you know, got some advice, Paul? Yeah. I took him aside and said, diddle-a-diddle, and think about getting into music publishing. And I thought he was joking. He said, oh, I'm going to get yours. Well, I went, oh, he slapped him on the back. Right. Good one, you know, I thought that was a joke. And then I just got rung up and said, he's got yours.
The relationship would begin to sour. Michael's 2001 album, Invincible, would be the most expensive album ever to be made at $30 million. Sony felt nervous about their return from the album, which on the surface really didn't make sense because they failed to promote the album. The same folks that played dirty tricks to get Michael Jackson half of Sony rights would use even dirtier tricks to one day get the full publishing rights back from Michael Jackson. The reason they failed to promote the album was published by the popular site yourweb.com in a now deleted post from 2002 that can still be found on Reddit. To get $30 million for the album, Michael took out a loan from his portion of the stake in ATV. They made him place his publishing as the collateral. So by failing to promote the album, they were blocking Michael from paying back the debt. The album sales will be his main income to pay the loan back. This is while he also had a $400 million loan pending in 2001 to buy Marvel Universe to make all the MCU movies we watch today. The defining moment would come in 2002 when Michael would make an announcement. But wait, I'm gonna continue cooking, but do me one small favor. Apply pressure to that subscribe button.
I prefer to perform than talk, but... At Sony, I've generated several $1 billion for Sony, several billion, and they really thought that my mind is always on music and dancing, and it usually is, but they never thought that this performer, myself, would outthink them. We can't let them get away with what they're trying to do because now I'm a free agent. Yeah.
Sony execs were shook in the thought that Michael would be taking his catalog not only away from Sony, but also out of spite while owning 50% of the ATV publishing.
They never thought that this performer, myself, would outthink them.
A rivalry between Michael Jackson and Sony would commence, with John Branca representing both parties.
People from James Brown to Sammy Davis Jr., some of the real pioneers that inspired me to be the entertainer that I am. These artists are always on tour because if they stopped touring, they would totally go broken. The record companies really, really do conspire against their artists. They steal, they cheat, they do whatever they can, especially the black artists. Sony, Tommy Mottola. Tommy Mottola is the president of the record division. He is a mean, he's a racist, and he's very, very, very devilish.
This was the moment when Michael Jackson will become worth more dead than alive. Soon after, a timeline of spooky events would occur. In 2003, MJ's image would take a huge hit when several minors would make accusations against him. This would be the first criminal charges brought against him. He had some in 1993 that were civil. Till this day, many question the motives.
I start looking, and I now look at the police tapes of the Santa Barbara police with the accuser. And I watched it, and I watched it again, and I rewound it. I watched it about 4 times. Every time I watched that tape, I would see the police saying to this boy, "It's okay, you can tell us. Tell us what Michael did to you. You can tell us, it's okay. He's done this before, we know." They were feeding him lines, and the kid is sitting there, and I don't really know. And it was so mind-boggling.
This move would deepen the wound on MJ, as it would dampen his ability to make money and pay back outstanding loan payments.
Neverland and many of his possessions were almost sold at auction.
He was no longer able to purchase Marvel Universe because all the investors backed out, not wanting to be connected to his name. At the end, Michael would beat the charges in dramatic fashion with the FBI giving him a clean slate.
There's not one scrap of evidence that Michael Jackson ever harmed a child, did anything wrong, committed any crime. It's almost a vindication when you look at this. The FBI looked at all of these matters and said, there's nothing here. And I think that's the most startling thing which I've seen.
He also retained his ownership of ATV, continuing his plan to crucify Sony while also making money off of all of their publishing. And then
6:30, they loaded the body of Michael Jackson onto that helicopter, and in just a couple of minutes, they're making their final approach now to County USC Medical Center.
In a plain white body bag, Jackson was transported into the care of the Los Angeles coroner. He will establish how exactly it all came to an end.
The death of Michael Jackson is a whole entire video within itself, full of shady individuals with questionable backgrounds. Dr. Conrad Murray will be charged and sentenced for the homicide, and after Michael died, almost everything corrupt that can happen did. John Branca, the lawyer that represented both Michael and Sony, somehow became the head of Michael's estate after he vehemently no longer wanted to do business with John nor Sony. This was proven by a handwritten note given to Michael's attorney at the time on what companies he wanted to publish his future projects. On this list, Sony is nowhere to be found. The King of Pop was just as interested in sticking it to Sony as much as he was interested in making money off of them, and was adamant he never wanted to sell his half.
Music executive Tommy Mottola, who worked closely with Jackson at Sony Records for 15 years, considers himself the gatekeeper of Jackson's catalog. Tommy.
Well, in 2016, Sony finally got what they wanted in purchasing Michael's half of ATV from the estate for $750 million. This purchase would be the highest selling number for an artist's catalog. And who brokered the deal? John Branca.
You need to know the baby West Coast victory, man. Call him a bitch for me.
You trying to let this shit die down, nah.
In 2022, an ecstatic Drake showed off a ring that once belonged to a rapper who found himself in this dangerous scenario as well. 1995 will be a turning point for probably the greatest rapper ever to exist. This after a chaotic 1994 for Tupac, who would get robbed of thousands of dollars in jewelry in Quad Studios, followed by being found guilty on SA charges. He will become the first artist ever to have a #1 Billboard album while being incarcerated. Failing to get his record label to bail him out, he was forced to make a deal with the devil. Suge Knight would bail out Tupac in 1995. Pac, now transformed in Machiavelli, will wage a war on not only his well-known rival, Biggie Smalls, but on an entire coast.
So that's what we doing. By strength in numbers, we coming to the East Coast to prove there is no fear, there is no problem, there ain't nothing but opportunity. And the opportunity is overthrow the government y'all got right now, which is Bad Boy and Nas and all that bullshit, and we will bring a new government here that will feed every person in New York.
He will go on to create not only hip-hop's double album, but the highest selling hip-hop album of all time, All Eyes on Me. At the same time, there were reports that Suge Knight was cheating Pac out of money, giving him advance after advance, gift after gift, while nothing was in his actual name.
So, yeah, once he got with Death Row, he was with whatever them niggas was with at the time, until he was ready to leave that motherfucker. When he wasn't getting his royalties and getting his money and finding out, he wasn't getting paid like he was supposed to, he was ready to shake that shit.
Before that famous day in 1996, there were reports of arguments ensuing between Tupac and Suge. Machiavelli Records will be the next move for Pac, who was preparing Machiavelli's 7-Day Theory to be released as a mixtape, and his double album, One Nation, would serve as the final project for Death Row Records. Suge himself was having problems with his two main artists, Dr. Dre, who began to pull away from the role, and Snoop, who did not appreciate the signing of Tupac. The last thing Suge needed is the greatest rapper of all time leaving his label. But what if something were to happen to Tupac? That would make his catalog worth possibly billions, and could possibly make Death Row the most profitable label of all time. So for Suge, Tupac was now worth more dead
than alive.
And look at Easy and say, you know, what do I need a bat to, you know, to force him to do a few things?
Even to this present day, it has been questioned what part he played in the death of Eazy-E.
Suge tried to destroy my record company.
Technology is so high, right?
Right.
So if you shoot somebody, you go to jail forever. So the kids, you don't want to go to jail forever, right? So they got this new thing out there. People sell them all the time. They got this stuff they get blood from somebody with AIDS, and then they shoot you with it.
Oh,
so
well, that seems bad.
That's a slow death.
Yeah.
An easy thing, you know what I mean?
Yeah. Oh, no.
Tupac was a different story. Suge had direct investment in his career and would profit the most from album sales. Well, the unthinkable would happen on September 7th, 1996, with Suge having a front row seat.
And where you were leading and things you were seeing, do you believe that Suge had something to do with that?
What I believed in 1996,
yes or no?
what I believe today, I would more or less point my finger to yes than no. One of the bodyguards, after he was finished with a video shoot, they were walking him to the airplane. He told this bodyguard, who's a real good friend of mine to this day, he said, "I'm a dead man walking." And he said, "Pac, why would you say something like that?" He said, "Because I don't want to go to Vegas, and I got a bad feeling about it."
Now today, Keefe D has been charged as an accomplice to the murder, and some would say Suge is off the hook on this. That is until you dig deeper and realize Suge and Keefe D have been friends since they were teens.
Me and Suge played football together. I've been to his house, been to his uncle's house.
Even doing business after Tupac's passing.
Like I saw a couple of them where he was saying like, you know, he ran into Suge, you know, and they chopped it up and stuff.
Shook hands. To this day, you can hear interviews from Suge referring to Keefe D that just don't line up.
At the end of the day, free Keefe D.
You know what's really interesting is that he is pulling back from Keefe D's own statements.
After Tupac's passing, Death Row will be overwhelmed with the hype over Tupac's unreleased tracks, and karma would pay a visit. His music would leak out to the world, and his unreleased tracks would accumulate $1 billion on the black market. 9 posthumous albums were released, each debuting on the top 10 Billboard charts. While it is definitely possible Suge had nothing to do with Tupac's death, Mr. Machiavelli would leave a cryptic message on the first few seconds of his album, Machiavelli, The 7-Day Theory. No matter what happens to Keefe D, we may never know the full truth on who or why they murdered Tupac. But in 2011, the FBI released a report documenting that Tupac was also receiving death threats from an organization called the Jewish Defense League, who are also labeled as a terrorist organization. In 2022, Drake would sign a $400 million deal with Universal, pun intended, because the deal would be a 360 for Drake, including his song recordings and visuals, as well as merch.
CEO Lucian Grange described the contract to Variety as an expansive, multifaceted deal that would cover Drake's recordings, publishing, merchandise, and visual media projects.
Of course, Drake is just not any artist. His catalog is worth more than the 70s, 80s, and the 90s combined.
So the thing that I'll say to you about the artist you just mentioned is that if you look at his music, he's bigger than the 70s, 80s, and 90s combined. I don't mean like one artist from that era, I mean all of those eras combined.
Not to mention the rumors of him having a similar deal with Gamma Records that Mike had with Sony. Joe Budden would get a chance to interview the CEO of Gamma Records, Larry Jackson.
But do you think that Drake's deals are a point of contention for his peers?
I can't answer that question. It's not appropriate on my place. I have to definitely display good cultural etiquette. So, do you like your water? Would you like any ice with that?
No, this is excellent.
These are all lucrative deals that have the potential of years and years of millions, maybe even billions of dollars in accumulation. Until this happened.
What's the password?
I see dead people.
The pop star's image took a huge beating for Pusha T that he was eventually able to recover from. But this one from Kendrick is turning out to be different. Drake's usual touch
of helping other artists break the top 10 Billboard charts is showing some blemishes. His collab with Camila Cabello would prove to be underwhelming.
But the Camila Cabello song, at that moment, this is a woman with a racist past. And when people are saying that you have been devoid of, you know, the things that matter in the culture, like, yeah, you might not want to do the song with her at the point where that looks like, allegedly she had asked him like, yo, or he had asked her like, yo, let's hold up a bit. And it finally came out now.
Come on.
Yeah, that's gonna work.
For the summertime,
That's gonna work.
Coming
That's
off
gonna
of the
work.
beef, perfect thing to do. That's crazy. That's crazy.
Even a deal that Drake signed with Nike would take a hit.
Now it's being reported that Drake's $460 million Nike deal has been ruined by the Kendrick Lamar beef. Drake has a huge deal with Nike, and Nike was likely behind the scenes calling UMG, telling them that they need to hurry up and end the Drake-Kendrick Lamar thing because it's hurting Drake's public image. Due to deals like this, $460 million is a lot of money. Nobody's giving out that money without expecting, you know, a significant return on their investment. So
while this video is just my perspective, it's definitely not far-fetched.
There was a shooting that happened earlier outside Drake's Toronto home, and one person was injured in this.
Drake has even seen the writing on the wall and has moved to Houston near his management.
Yeah, we done gone country on y'all boys, man. We said we was gonna do it for a lot of years and we doing it today.
Jay Prince, who in some ways is comparable to Suge Knight.
I said, dude, I ain't gonna leave him out. You know, I'm just real like this, you know, because, you know, be throwing rocks and hiding their hand, right? They be throwing rocks and hiding their hand. And I don't like them kind of individuals.
If this downward trend of sales continue for Drake, things could be grim at a time where his likeness has been sold off for profit.
Is Family Matters on the charts still or no? Nah, Family Matters is not on the charts. Drake, I think Drake got to drop soon. And by the way, this is like our little chart, like deep dive here. Drake got to drop soon because
a profit that could be hard for investors to tap into if the product isn't worth as much as it once was. On that note, all eyes will be on Drake's next album and how it sells. Because he could find himself in a position where he can become worth more dead than alive.
I think Kendrick is a bully in music.
Since the very beginning of hip-hop's start, battle rap has been an intricate part of not only its beginnings, but also of its rejuvenation. Through the years, there have been a list of major battles that have become special moments in hip-hop history, from Kool Moe Dee versus Busy B, LL Cool J versus Cannabis, Tupac versus Biggie, 50 Cent versus Ja Rule. Hip-hop fans have witnessed a battle either uplift or bury a rapper's career, some with no return. In the last decade, rap battles have had to adapt to a change in society invoked by social media, where narratives are more easily introduced than prior years when verdicts were strictly decided by the streets. But in the current aftermath, in one of the most important battles in rap history, we see the culture taking another transformation where the loser can attempt to change narratives and buy opinions.
Even if y'all say Drake ain't win, I'm rooting for any that could Kendrick up. I'm tired of this shit.
If they was letting him in and Drake made the call or somebody OVO made the call to say, hey, dead that.
After experiencing one of the most brutal rap beatings in history, Drake has proceeded to introduce a new style of fighting back that includes no lyrics, no spectacular beat selection, and no rebuttals, but an attempt to buy opinions of the top-tier social media influencers. This enclave of controlling narratives began to show its face soon after Kendrick's record-breaking diss track, Not Like Us, emerged. The narrative that will be pushed is that Not Like Us catapulted to the top of the charts because of bots. This onslaught of an attempt to rewrite history was not accompanied with laziness, but rather malice, as a figure would appear to deliver this message with receipts.
I do want to see, like, what proof do you have that you think that there is collusion here among these bigger companies, because we usually think of fake stream as like, yo, some struggling artists trying to act like they're lit. Like
it's because I'm being threatened. Honestly, that's the only reason I've even come on the stream, is because I'm being texted every day. I'm being spammed. I'm being threatened. People are trying to tell me they're gonna kill me. They know where I live. Yeah, I mean, the thing is, like, again, you know, you could ask around about me. I'm not biased. I haven't, you know, done this to fuck him over. I don't want to fuck him over. I don't want to fuck anybody over. But early on, when the song first dropped, it wasn't him. I'm not gonna say he reached out to me himself, because obviously he didn't. It was definitely somebody from management. They wanted me to do 30 million early.
Though cunning, this attempt will become a spit in the face, not just to Kendrick Lamar's work, but rather to the world, who showed their appreciation for the diss track in so many forms that AI bots could never replicate.
$1 might turn to $1 million, then we all rich. That's just sign. Be the last one out to get this dough.
The bot theory would not last long and would do more harm than good, similar to Drake's next moves. This move would not only come back to bite Drake, but will also prove to be something not only out of line with American rap culture, but also out of alignment in Canadian culture as well.
When the Schoolboy show got canceled, somebody tweeted sir and said, I guess you're gonna be the next one to be canceled. This was like 2 weeks ago.
You look like a sucker if you lose. Now you're saying now you can't come to now your R&B singers can't come and perform in my country.
Schoolboy Q and other TDE artists would have sold out shows immediately canceled by Canadian authorities with no viable reasons.
Schoolboy Q's show in Toronto just got canceled, and he had a few words to say about it on social media. He said, "They just canceled my show in Toronto, ... Canadian police don't want nobody from Top Dog Entertainment performing." Top was just with Wayne and Baby SMH. Party Next Door just had a show at the Palladium. If we wanted to get y'all, we would have just did it. Now when somebody get hurt, don't cry. Actually, I get it, ... Never mind this low-key hilarious. I don't know why Dot put me in that effing video.
Whose sold-out show in Toronto was unexpectedly canceled by Canadian police, leaving fans disappointed and confused.
This calculated move would turn out to be a misstep, as this formula would not include the variable that there are a lot of Canadian fans that actually rock with TDE. The backlash would not go unseen. But wait, I'm gonna continue cooking, but do me one small favor. Apply pressure to that subscribe button.
Did you know Drake's here tonight? I thought Drake was your homie. What? No? Drake's my homie.
Like, are they banning any other song from any club across the world? No, you could play Drake's diss song in LA. Just play Not Like Us after, and you'll be all right.
Accompanying this backlisting of TDE artists would also be the blocking of any type of promotion for the song Not Like Us, the song that will be the dagger that crippled Drake's status. Rick Ross will be the first one to test out this strategy, and he would soon find this tactic is legit by the hands of Hell's Angels. This move too would have a counterplay by the hands of DJ Scheme, a DJ, friends of Extacion, who used this as an opportunity to pay homage to a friend who gave up the ghost during the deadly robbery.
Florida detectives now saying that the rapper was targeted and was being tracked in his final moments before the shooting. The suspected shooter, Dedrick Williams, is facing first-degree murder charges.
A robbery Drake lyrically cosplayed in a song after his demise.
Break that 10, do a 5, then if it gets live, do a 5 again. If he held his tongue on that live, he'd be alive again, damn.
DJ Scheme would play this track front and center in the same venue that Schoolboy Q was banned from. One thing about this new form of battling after the battle is that you have to be relentless. And that's exactly what Drake was with it. Relentless. What would begin to transpire is an epic display of propaganda being pushed everywhere, from Instagram, Twitch, to YouTube. Whether Drake was actually paying these influencers is not evident, but what definitely is evident is some people are compromised.
Did Kendrick steal lyrics on Twitter? Apparently somebody says, yo, bro, I need my royalties for Not Like Us. I'm not playing. A guy's claiming that his bars were taken by Kendrick for Not Like Us.
Narratives such as any artist connected to Kendrick Lamar should also have record sales out the roof, since Kendrick decidedly won this battle. DJ Academics pretty much promoted the narrative that Kendrick owes every artist that performed at the pop-out show a feature. This theory went haywire after DJ Mustard's first week sales were lackluster.
If you guys don't know Mustard, who produced the beat, Not Like Us, he responded to me tweeting out the sales, okay? So I tweeted out that DJ Mustard, Faith of a Mustard Seed, that was an album he dropped right after, you know, he even went on Big Boy's platform and he said, yo, shit, this shit kind of got me back hot. And DJ Mustard, Big Boy. And I think if you ask me, a lot of people felt like the moment of the Drake and Kendrick battle was extending to them, and I'm here to tell everybody it don't.
One of the most surprising switch-ups came from YouTuber What's the Dirt. Previously, he took no sides and called the battle as it was.
And I think that Kendrick knows something about these parties. I do.
Suddenly, it seemed like Drake himself took over What's the Dirt Twitter account.
You know, he doesn't call Drake a liar in any of his videos. And I don't remember seeing him calling Drake a liar in any of his, marketing things. But that's a strong thing. So, of course, Kendrick fans, they got on that ass, man. They got on that ass.
An account that suddenly disappeared.
He takes his account down because he was getting so much heat.
One thing's for sure, this battle between the two will be remembered for ages. And what has now been added to the culture for here on out is the new tactic of the battle after the battle. 2024 would bring one of the most prolific rap conflicts in hip-hop history, laminating Drake with one of the most damaging losses ever experienced. But what would commence after was not about the actual loss, but the coping.
Oh my God, okay, it's happening. Everybody stay calm. Everybody stay calm.
After surviving a Scud missile shot by Pusha T, soon Drake's defenses would once again be tested, and this time way more brutal. While alternate well-known beefs would end with apologies, pivoting, others would just about disappear. But this battle,
We niggas and we respectful, so we ain't gonna say it, but you a bitch.
Never in the history of rap beefs has an L been handled so feminine. The scenario is like a character from the 2004 film Mean Girls.
I can't go to Taco Bell. I'm on an all-carb diet. God, Karen, you are so stupid. But you know,
This behavior would show itself early on when Drake would reveal where his mind was, mistaking a Kendrick jab as a scene from 10 Things I Hate About You, implying his opponent was acting like a bitch.
Big dumb combat boots and the way you read my mind.
When really, the one exemplifying the role would be Drake himself, pushing rumors of bots in play, victimizing himself.
My real friends are definitely in the building.
And even more recently, playing a game of why him and not me.
Yes, if you ever put a DeRozan banner up, I'll go up there and pull it down myself. That's the answer to your question.
Not only acting like a high school teen, but even emulating one with duck lips, hair barrettes, and even high school tantrums.
But I'm gonna tell you.
A lot of people ask me how I'm feeling. And I know that no matter what, it's not a nigga on this earth that can ever with me in my life. And that's how I want you to walk out of here tonight.
Placing himself in comparison to an unlikely character from the 2004 movie Mean Girls. Before we go on, please do me one small favor, hit that like button and apply pressure to that subscribe button. Regina George, the main antagonist, aligns with this to a T. She ran a group of uppity white bitches named the Plastics, pun intended. What the group thrived on is a higher standard of privilege linked with a facade where people acted like they were royalty, but no one really liked them. They just garnered everyone's respect because their parents were the richest and they acted better than everyone else. Regina's a typical narcissist. Any idea she comes by is hers.
Does it bother you that they still use your original choreography?
Here Drake on his first song. Tell me what's really going on. That's
Oh,
Soldier.
shit.
That's
Oh,
my bar.
shit.
He copied my whole flow.
That kissed me through the phone.
No one can be friends or even date each other unless she approves.
She's not going out with anyone.
Things get shaken up when a new kid, Katie, quickly gets befriended by the Plastics and finds out swiftly that not only the group, but even more so the leader, Regina George, is nothing but a jealous projector that really only befriended her because she saw her as potential competition.
You're like really pretty. Thank you. So you agree? What? You think you're really pretty?
Early on, Regina acted as if there was little to no competition between the two, when really, behind the scenes, Regina kept trying to undermine her. This alone forced Katie to take it upon herself to become a mole to the Plastics and expose as many dirty secrets as possible.
Okay, you have to do it, okay? And then you have to tell me all of the horrible things that Regina says.
She would get the chance after being invited to Regina's house, where she found a circle that was dysfunctional, with everything ranging from extreme lack of talent to unexplainable freakiness, along with a book filled with dirty secrets, such as possible drug dealing, who was cheating on who, and even inappropriate underage relationships.
I pulled these two off each other. Coach Carr, step away from the underage girls.
The Burn Book.
Don't know how he got a hold of it. Don't know how this happened to get in Kendrick's hand. But apparently Kendrick Lamar must have got a hold of Drake's dad's suitcase.
Drake entered this war as one of the top-selling artists of the streaming era, even recently being named top 4 Billboard artists of the 21st century. So initially, people would question why so many people at once would press the 6 God.
You got to like that remix. I don't believe Gay jumped on the like that remix.
You know we had to get the hooligans up here. We gonna take this nigga out. Yo, Dot, I got you.
Oh my
But the details that would follow were clear. It was a long-awaited revenge on Aubrey.
You would agree with the rumor that Future may be mad that him and Drake had an album together.
That is what they are saying.
Appearing as a friend up front, but later on showing himself to be vain.
I was just, that's just how life go when you locked up. She still be texting me and stuff, They stop texting me too, for real, because it still hurt.
And in a flurry of metaphors, schemes, and subliminals, Kendrick Lamar would expose Drake's Burn Book, outsmarting him in a game exposing dirty secrets from having a mole planted in Drake's circle, making K-Dot and everyone connected to him a sworn enemy. This goes even toward athletes such as DeMar DeRozan, who has maintained a friendship with Kendrick, which by far ages his conflict with Drake.
Yes, if you ever put a DeRozan banner up, I'll go up there and pull it down myself. That's the answer to your question.
Well, he gonna have a long way to climb to take it down, so I tell him good luck.
Thanks, everyone. What do you make of this whole DeMar Drake thing? Drake saying he ain't getting his jersey retired, I'll pull it down. DeMar saying good luck with that, pretty much saying like, of course my jersey get retired.
Man, I hate to see it. Obviously DeMar is someone that I've grown close to, someone like a big brother to me. Drake, I got a lot of love and respect for. Yeah, I don't like to see that.
All that standing at the game, the ice grilling the face, the mumbling under the breath, like, we niggas and we respectful, so we ain't gonna say it, but you a bitch.
But hell hath no fury like a scorned woman. What could be just interpreted as hip-hop competition could quickly escalate into something serious, and what seems like petty little girl drama could quickly turn into street beef.
Beefs are, they're volatile. So you always have to be careful that a beef doesn't turn into a murder. Now, it's all over the world, all walks of life know what's going on. And, some people can't really take that kind of humiliation.
Drake's handlers, the Plastics, would kick off a campaign of misinformation and slander.
Yeah, this is J. Cole right here asking for directions to the fucking forum. He's like, yo, how do I get to the forum? They said Kendrick told me to come on stage during Not Like Us.
When stuff gets said like that now, today, it's more personal.
Yeah, shit. They were just saying shit.
There was one K-Dot diss track that came out, and I was like, oh, this is over. Like, this isn't rap. This isn't a rap. This ain't clashing anymore.
No, they don't like each other.
This is over. Like, they don't like each other. It's clear. I can hear it. Like, I can hear it in his voice. He doesn't like.
While the leader and commander would stagger in front of the world with flop features, drunken nights with awkward selfies, all from a friendly competition that got out of hand. No different than the competition Regina faced from Katie after the two appeared to be friends. While the whole time Regina would undermine everyone around her, this particular time would work against her in dramatic fashion. After getting outsmart, manipulated into thinking she was taking an Ozempic-like drug, Regina has a meltdown. From nose jobs to weight insecurities, Regina's circle would find out she is more than the bitch she appeared to be.
She feels weird around me because I'm the only person that knows about her nose job.
Everyone's asking a question. Drake, did he or did he not have rhinoplasty, which is reshaping of the nose? And
in response, Regina would unveil a flurry of rumors with some truth around school campus in an attempt to make everyone but herself the evil person, and all hell would break loose. Eventually, everyone would find out that Regina was not the victim, but rather the aggressor, putting her plans to waste. Angry toward losing an ego battle with Katie, Regina suffers a near fatal accident right in the middle of a rant, which she blames Katie.
You can take that fake apology and shove it right up your hair.
In the end, Katie wins Spring Queen, where she has mercy on Regina and shares a portion of the crown, even though it can't replace the valor Regina lost in the end. Which is where we find Drake, the king of the streaming era, stripped down from a burn book. And though Drake's career might not be dead this time around, he may never be seen as what he once was, cause now he's a mean girl.
Well, we spent a lot of time together, right? This last video, I'm just gonna say, will never be forgotten in hip hop history. When I first got this information that this dude was suing his record label and K-Dot over this battle, I remember exactly where I was when I got this information. It was just one of the moments that I'll never forget, in history. I'll never forget this moment. Now, this last video, I don't think any of us will ever forget where we were when we first heard that Drake was doing a lawsuit over losing a rap battle. Like, it has yet to be seen what kind of impact this is gonna have. I think it's gonna have some impact moving forward in rap forever. I'm still processing it. I haven't fully processed it, right? So it caused me to make a video where I'm pretty much comparing him to one of the biggest informants ever in the Black American community known, right? But other than that, I would like to thank you for watching this compilation. I do have some other videos pertaining to this beef that I didn't put in this long compilation. One of them that I would definitely suggest you check out is how the Kendrick Lamar and Drake beef closely emulates the Nas and Jay-Z beef. Now, I will tell you, I made that video before Drake did the lawsuit, but it doesn't dispute the fact that there are a lot of similarities. And it's an 1.5-hour video that I made. You can check it right here. And I'd like to thank y'all for watching this video. And if you haven't yet, please like and subscribe. Moxie out.
On a Monday, November morning, news would circulate throughout the hip-hop social media community that a petition would be filed. But this would not be a regular petition seeking justice or civil rights. This particular petition would shake not only the core of entertainment, but the very essence of what helped hip-hop become what it is today. On what would be called White Monday, Aubrey Graham would file documents claiming that one of the most decisive, humiliating losses in hip-hop history was facilitated and made possible
by bots.
Drake is filing a petition against Universal Music Group and Spotify, accusing the companies of, quote, artificially inflating the spread of Not Like Us by Kendrick Lamar.
The following day, he would double down and file another petition, this one based on the claim that his own record label, UMG, is responsible for distributing what will become the greatest diss track in the history of rap, a song constructed by Kendrick Lamar.
Like, in the history of rap beef and all the rap beefs that I've covered in my career and all the rap beefs that I've read about over the course of the genre's entire history, from Ice Cube and NWA to obviously Tupac and Biggie, Jay-Z and Nas, so on and so forth, you've never actually seen potential litigation come into play.
This move would not only cripple the image of a man who many claimed was an industry plant, but cripple the future of a genre draped with popular beats throughout its history. One could only question if this was part of the plan from the beginning. The story can be seen almost hand-in-hand parallel with a story well known within the Black community that divulges a bloody ending to one of the greatest figures in civil rights history that was set up by a plant from the FBI to not only gather intel, but destroy a movement well loved by the community. Fred Hampton was a force of nature, a young, passionate orator and organizer who could rally disparate groups under the banner of unity and justice.
I said it before I went to jail, I'm back now and I may be going again, but if I do go, if you don't say anything else, then the last thing I heard him say was that you can jail a revolutionary, but you can't jail a revolutionary.
Born in 1948 in Maywood, Illinois, Hampton grew up in an era of rising civil rights awareness. By the time he was in his early 20s, he had already proven his talent for leadership, first as president of the local NAACP Youth Council, and later as a rising star in the Black Panther Party. Hampton's vision extended beyond Black liberation. Under his leadership, the Illinois Black Panther Party established the Rainbow Coalition, forging alliances with Latino and white activist groups like the Young Lords and the Young Patriots. Hampton's initiatives, free breakfast programs, health clinics, and educational services were a direct challenge to system neglect, making him a target of COINTELPRO, who were willing to go through extraordinary lengths to put a halt to not only his movement, but his life as well. William O'Neal was born in Chicago in 1949, growing up in a city rife with systematic racism, police brutality, and stark economic deprivation. By the late 1960s, he was leading a small-time life of crime and was arrested for stealing a car and crossing state lines. Facing the possibility of significant jail time, he was approached by the FBI with a deal: work as an informant in exchange for his freedom. It was a proposition O'Neal couldn't refuse. Under the guidance of FBI agent Roy Mitchell, O'Neal was tasked with infiltrating the Chicago chapter of the Black Panther Party. The FBI's larger objective, under its COINTELPRO initiative, was to neutralize groups it deemed subversive. The Black Panther Party, with its militant rhetoric and community activism, was high on that list, and Fred Hampton was emerging as one of its most electrifying leaders. Hailing from the gritty streets of Compton, California, Kendrick Lamar's journey to the pinnacle of hip-hop was far from conventional. Raised in a neighborhood plagued by gang violence and poverty, he found solace and purpose in music. In 2009, Kendrick signed with Top Dog Entertainment. The label's collective approach, emphasizing artistic integrity and social consciousness, resonated with Kendrick's vision. Kendrick's breakthrough album, Good Kid, Mad City, was a critical and commercial success. What would separate Kendrick from many artists was his ability to go back and forth from a mainstream style to conscious underground style, which only a few in this history of hip-hop were able to pull off. Although his rise in fame would trail another artist with a background almost the opposite of Kendrick, named Aubrey Graham. His role as Jimmy Brooks on the Canadian teen drama Degrassi, The Next Generation, gave him a platform, but his heart was set on music. In 2006, Drake released his first mixtape, Room for Improvement,
showcasing his unique blend of rap and R&B, a style that will later define his sound. Drake's debut album, Thank Me Later, solidified his position as a major force in hip-hop. Subsequent albums like Take Care, Nothing Was the Same, and Views broke records and pushed him to the top of the charts.
Do me one small favor before we continue. Please apply pressure to that subscribe button. Yes, apply pressure to that subscribe button.
Throughout his career, many people would question Drake's rise to fame. Before Drake, the only Canadian even close to hip-hop success will be Snow the Informer, who turned out to be a one-hit wonder. Drake's consistent chart-topping hits sprinkled with features from some of America's biggest stars would drown out any voices that were compelled to think he was an industry plant. Though this premise can be seen early on when he would break a long-known tradition on Funkmaster Flex's radio show.
All the way from. Let me situate this. Yeah, all the way from it. Young, I got you. Look, I say, young money to the young boy dying out. You hear me crying out.
When in actuality, a genre controlled by the shadows of America's elite would have huge purpose for Drake. A genre used to brainwash minorities with exuberant drug use, womanizing, sexualization, and feminizing of black men, he could play a perfect role for these elite who could use a figure highly popular in his base, but free from his long-standing rules. This purpose of Drake will present itself in a battle commencing in 2024, which will become maybe the biggest rap battle in the history of hip-hop. Drake's positioning in hip-hop will be likened to that of William O'Neal, who joined the Black Panther Party in 1968. He worked hard to gain the trust of his members. Known for his resourcefulness, O'Neal quickly rose through the ranks, eventually becoming the chapter's chief of security. This position gave him access to the inner workings of the organization, from strategy meetings to floor plans of key facilities. O'Neal fed the FBI regular updates on the Panthers' activities. He was adept at playing his dual roles, publicly loyal to the Panthers while privately undermining them. As O'Neal embedded himself deeper into the Panthers, his reports to the FBI became increasingly crucial. He provided intelligence that helped the FBI sow distrust among members and thwart the group's initiatives. Most chillingly, O'Neal gave the FBI a detailed layout of Fred Hampton's apartment, complete with the location of his bed, a map that would later facilitate the demise of one of the most significant civil rights orators of the time. Speaking of orators, in spring 2024, all bets would be off when Kendrick Lamar would end years of subliminal disses between him and Drake and make one of the first direct strikes of the two, setting off one of the most brutal rap beefs of modern times. After a lengthy back and forth between the two, the kill shot will be a song, Not Like Us, which would not only position Drake as a possible sex offender, but also uplift the community by separating themselves on the side of greatness. Kendrick Lamar would follow up with a dramatic concert placing a spotlight on the best West Coast artists, unifying gang sets and pushing for black and brown pride. Drake's defense mechanisms would be unable to counter. Any respect he had left would not be able to be regained without a cultural clash. And since the culture is one he was never in conjunction with, he would make one of the most damning moves ever known in hip-hop history, filing a petition. One for the claim of the usage of bots, a practice that has been used for years in the streaming world, probably even by the petitioner himself. The other for defamation, a lowball move that will be a cultural slap in the face, especially coming from an individual who had competed in the past and won using similar tactics. The entire rap world would react in a frenzy.
This is hip hop, man. This is hip hop. Somebody comes at you with lyrics, with a song, you're supposed to come right back at them with the song, with lyrics.
Man, that's a yellow. He get to do that. Man, yellow.
I forgot.
You go weak ass yellow and crying. But he always had the Jews behind him. How he claiming it's unfair?
He's a selfish, lying, manipulative sack of shit who has made enemies for 15 years, and now we're here at the fucking boiling point. They both could be true. You've been behind the scenes being the biggest sack of shit you can possibly be. I'm not here to play games with you niggas. Niggas know what it is out there.
Some would mention Tekashi 6ix9ine, who as well took the stand, but his actions were against actual criminals who sold narcotics and took lives and had no effect on the culture. As for Drake, how could someone infiltrated so deeply into hip-hop make a move so unrelated to the craft? How could he fool an entire culture built on realness and sustained on authenticity? And what would this do to the future of rap battle? Could it possibly end up similar to the young charismatic leader, Fred Hampton? On December 4th, 1969, just before dawn, Chicago police officers working with the FBI raided Fred Hampton's apartment. The raid was a coordinated assault. 14 officers fired nearly 100 shots into the apartment. Hampton, who was drugged with barbiturates, reportedly placed in his drink by a Panther member under O'Neal's influence, was shot and killed while sleeping next to his fiancée, Deborah Johnson. The official narrative claimed the Panthers fired first, but forensic evidence later debunked this, proving that the police fired the overwhelming majority of shots.
Murder. The pigs murdered Deputy Chairman Fred Hampton while he lay in bed. I approve it. I prove it to the world that Fred Hampton was murdered by the pigs. Their lies, their arguing to the people can't bear up to the evidence that we have that they murdered our Deputy Chairman in cold blood as he lay in his bed asleep.
The raid was not just an act of violence, it was a calculated move to eliminate a rising leader who posed a significant ideological threat to the status quo. O'Neal's role in the events leading up to the raid was pivotal. His betrayal set the stage for one of the most infamous acts of state violence in modern American history. It would upend a movement that would never regain its momentum, even up until this day. William O'Neal will be rewarded $300 for his cooperation with the FBI. He would later go on a rare interview for the 1990 PBS documentary Eyes on the Prize 2, defending his actions, claiming he was caught in the moral gray area.
You know, I'm not gonna do that. I didn't pull the trigger. I didn't issue the warrant.
Similar to how immediately after Drake's petition was filed, his associates, also foreign to the culture, would take to social media in an attempt to explain Drake's unorthodox anti-cultural moves.
I'm just looking at it like people have to stop being so surface with this shit and saying, oh, Drake is mad that he lost, just take the L. Cool. Y'all are talking about a rap battle. This is not the URL. We talking about the
business battle, yes.
Not URL.
One individual unknown to the petitioner revealed publicly on a popular podcast that Mr. Kendrick Lamar's Duckworth's label, Interscope, paid him via third-party use bots to achieve 30 million streams on Spotify.
Which would not work, just like O'Neal's excuses would not register. O'Neal would take his own life by running into traffic, ending the life of a man haunted by his choices. Metaphorically, this has Drake's actions written all over it. Filing the case over what he claims is invalid web traffic, an unprecedented move that can cripple an entire industry, leaving the door open for a new breed of artists who will be free from any type of criticism or verbal critique due to the fear of legal retaliation, ripping the heart out of one of the most major components of rap. Whether successful or not, watering down the landscape of a genre well loved by the community, while at the same time committing career suicide for himself, making Drake the biggest informant in hip-hop history. Thank you for watching this documentary, and if you really like it, you'll like my other short form and long form documentaries that you can find right here. Well, anyways, you know how we like to end our videos over here at Moxie Approved, right? With that water. I'll see y'all here next time on Moxie Approved.